The following is a conversation with MrBeast, the mastermind behind some of the most epic and popular videos ever made. And now, a quick few-second mention of each sponsor. Check them out in the description. It's the best way to support this podcast. We got House of Macadamias for a satiating and delicious snack, 8 Sleep for, you guessed it, naps, and BetterHelp for mental health. Choose wisely, my friends. Snacks, naps, or mental health. And now onto the full ad reads. As always, no ads in the middle. I try to make this interesting, but if you skip them, please still check out our sponsors. I enjoy their stuff. Maybe you will too. This show is brought to you by House of Macadamias. It seems like it was just yesterday that they became a sponsor, and I became aware of their existence because before they became a sponsor, they sent a giant box of delicious snacks. And it seems just like it was yesterday that I ate all of those snacks over a period of a few days and was a happier man for it. This month, I'm much stricter on my diet and trying to be much more responsible with my consumption of snacks. I think moderation is key for that. But in general, I think, first of all, macadamia, to me, I think, is one of the more delicious nuts, but it is definitely the healthiest, or at least one of the most healthy. I think it's pretty much the healthy. I remember when I first started keto many, many years ago, I did a bunch of research on which nuts I can and can't have, I guess, if I want to be ultra low carb. And everybody recommended macadamias as like the one that has all these nutrients and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of science. You can look it up. I think there's like omega 7s or whatever, those different kinds of fats. It doesn't matter. The point, they're delicious. And the raw ingredient of the macadamia nut that House of Macadamias provides is just delicious. And of course, they do all kinds of snacks around that. And my task, whenever I do an ad read or talk to anybody, like my neighbors or friends, about House of Macadamias, is not to do any sexual innuendo. That's job number one. My brain is that of a silly person. At heart, I'm still a child, and I will forever remain a child. Like that Tom Waits song, I don't want to grow up. Maybe that's not even the name of the song or the lyrics, but I'm just going to go with it. And this is a good chance to mention that Tom Waits is somebody that I've dreamed of talking to on this podcast for a long time. He's a very difficult interview to get. He's dropped a few crumbs to me of hope, saying like, yes, maybe one day. So I hold on to that hope, like I hold on to the delicious House of Macadamia nuts with childlike joy in my eyes. Go to houseofmacadamias.com/Lex to get 20% off your first order. This episode is also brought to you by 8 Sleep and its new Pod 3 mattress. There's been a few days over the past, let's say 3 weeks, where I've been extremely stressed because of several things going on in my life. You know how life is. It's an up and down process. Both the ups and downs contribute to the beauty of the whole experience. Anyway, when things are kind of difficult, I sought escape in friends, in books, in moments of simple joy, in moments of peace. And I think the best escape is a good nap. A full night's sleep, of course, but also a good nap. It's kind of magical how much your mind can just become completely refreshed. The beauty of the world can be richly rediscovered through the process of a nap. It's incredible. Just 20, 30 minutes. It's kind of amazing. At least my brain is like that. So sometimes when I'm feeling crappy, I'll just give it a nap. I'll give it a good night's sleep and see how I feel again in the morning. And almost always, if not right away, just maybe a couple of naps, I'll feel better. Anyway, that's why you want to really make sure that the surface, the mattress, all kinds of technology that you surround yourself with in terms of sleep, you use the best stuff. And that's why I look forward to sleeping on that cool surface that an 8 Sleep cover provides. It's just incredible. I look forward to naps and sleeps just because of that 8 Sleep cover. Check it out and get special savings when you go to 8sleep.com/Lex. This episode is also brought to you by BetterHelp, spelled H-E-L-P, help. Speaking of the ups and downs of life, I think it's interesting, the kind of roller coaster your mind can go on. At least my mind can go on. One moment I feel blissful and happy and everything is beautiful, and one moment I feel cranky and just a little bit down. And one of the things I've learned is to just kind of allow the passage of time to cure all things. But I think that's not necessarily the full picture, because you should probably treat your mental health very seriously and talk through it with a therapist. There's some deep ocean of feeling there that may lay unexplored, and it's I think beneficial to explore it with a good therapist. I think one of the most accessible, easiest ways to get access to a good therapist, a licensed professional therapist, is BetterHelp. That's why I'm a big supporter of what they do. That's really the first barrier, is make it super easy, and of course make it affordable. And that's what BetterHelp does. Check them out at betterhelp.com/Lex and save on your first month. This is the Lex Friedman Podcast. To support it, please check out our sponsors in the description. And now, dear friends, here's MrBeast. I'm here with MrBeast, the brilliant mastermind behind some of the most popular videos ever created. Do you think you'll ever make a video that gets 1 billion views?
I think maybe one of the videos we've already made might get 1 billion views.
Which one do you think?
Probably like the Squid Game video with enough time. I mean, it's only a year old and it's already on 300 million, or some of the newer ones we've done have gotten like 100 million views in a month. So those 4 projected over 10 years, because YouTube's not going anywhere. Probably one of those.
So over time, they don't necessarily plateau.
What's interesting, we were literally jumping right
into
it. I love it. It's good. So I'm a firm believer that it's much easier to hypothetically get 10 million views on one video than 100,000 on 100. And part of why it's much easier, in my opinion, is like if you make a really good video, it's just so evergreen and it never dies. Because YouTube, when you open up YouTube and look at the videos, they're just serving you whatever they think you'll like the best, And so if you just make a great video and it's constantly just above every other video, even 2 years down the road, then they'll just keep serving it and never stop, which is why it's much easier to make one great video than a bunch of mediocre ones.
What about 1 billion subscribers? You've passed PewDiePie's the most subscribed to YouTube channel. When do you think you get 1 billion?
Let me do some math real quick. So we're on 120.
So you think about this?
No, I don't, honestly. Because one thing you'll find, if you want to gain subscribers, if you want to get views, if you want to make money, almost any metric in this video creation space, if you want something, it all comes back to, okay, well then just make great videos. So instead of like focusing on all these arbitrary vanity metrics, I just kind of focus on the one thing that gets me all that, which is make good videos. And that, I do think we will when they hit 1 billion subscribers. Like, I don't have a plan on going anywhere. Even though we're only on 120 million right now on the main channel, I think like we're doing around 10 million a month now. And YouTube I just don't see it going anywhere. And I don't see any reason why I'd ever get burnt out or quit. So I think with enough time, yes.
I wanted to ask you those family-friendly questions before I go to the dark questions. So now
we have dark questions. Wait, no. But if you wanted to hook them, you would start off with the dark questions. That's how you get them.
Okay. Well, let me ask you about a Twitter poll you posted, a $10,000 death poll. You tweeted, yes. If someone offered you $10,000, but if you take it, a random person on earth dies, would you take the $10,000? And 45% of people said yes. That's, at least at the time I checked, 850,000 people committing murder for just $8.5 billion in total. So what do you learn about human nature from that?
That's a good question. Honestly, this was like late at night when I threw that up too. I was just like, this will be a funny thing. I assumed it'd be 90% no and like 10% yes. But there are a lot of serious people. For you guys listening, I just did this random Twitter poll where I was like, would you take 10 grand if it meant someone random in the world died? Yeah. And a lot of the replies on the tweet were like, hell yeah, why not? And I was just not expecting that. And so I don't really know. I mean, I feel like your take would be better than mine.
Was it disturbing to you, surprising to you?
A little bit, yeah. But obviously a lot of people were trolling, but
Yeah.
I actually, when you read through those replies, I do think like 10% of them were like dead serious.
Well, I think sometimes the trolling and the lulls reveal a thing we're too embarrassed to admit about the darker aspects of our nature. So I don't know if you listen to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast. He has a episode on painfotainment, which he describes throughout history how humans have been really attracted to watching the suffering of others. So public executions, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he believes that's in all of us. That, for example, if something like a YouTube or a different platform streamed a public execution or streamed the torture of another human being, a lot of people would say that's deeply unethical, but they would still tune in and watch.
Yeah.
And that we're attracted to that drama, and especially the most extreme versions of that drama. And so I think part of the lulls reveals something that's actually true in that poll. That, like,
Your answer is so much better than mine.
do you think about that? Maybe even with the Squid Game, like, so I think how many views does the Squid Game currently have? 300 million,
Yeah,
something
somewhere
like this. So just imagine, thought experiment, how many views that video would get if it was like real.
Yeah,
Squid Game.
assuming YouTube was like, we'll turn a blind eye, we won't take it down. Yeah, I mean, obviously it'd probably have billions of views.
How do you think you will die? And do you think it'll be during a video?
Probably doing something dumb like going to space when I'm older, like trying to go to Mars or something like that. I know for a fact it won't be on a video. Every video we do with safety experts and stuff like that, so it's not really risk. But yeah, I could see myself like, after 1 million people go to Mars or something like that, I'd probably be like, you know what, let's go and something like that maybe.
So not in the name of a video, just
No.
for the hell of it.
Heck no.
Are you open to taking risks when you shoot videos? You just went to Antarctica. I mean, like, you're putting yourself on the line a little bit, right?
Of course, but we had that video in the works for 3 years, and then we consult with tons of experts, radar the entire path we're going to walk beforehand to see if there's crevasses. So we know there's no crevasses. We do training, we consult with experts, and we have survival guides there with us, and monitor the weather and everything. So it's like any variable where we could get harmed, we just pre-plan for it. Same thing with buried alive. Like I had David Blaine spent a week underground. And so I consulted with him and consulted with basically anyone who ever buried themselves alive. The coffin we used to bury me, we did so many tests. Like that coffin was buried 10 times before I was, for way longer than 50 hours. It tested the airflow and everything to the point where I was safer in that coffin underground than I was above ground. Like, so we just tend to just not leave anything up to chance,
Another strange question then. So you recorded these videos to yourself, 5 years, 10 years from now. Have you recorded a video that's to be released once you die?
Well, first off, I am just glad that not every one of your questions have to do with like views or things like that. It's nice getting different questions. So this is good. No, seriously.
It's a little dark.
No, but it's fine because a lot of people just be like, how much money do you make? It's just something everything's always about money now for when people talk to me. So it's nice. But for the videos I made, for you guys who probably don't follow me too closely, when I had 8,000 subscribers and I was a teenager, I filmed a bunch of videos and scheduled them years in the future. And I said, I'd filmed one where I was like, hi, me in a year. And the video went up a year later. And it was just like, hey, I think you'll have 100,000 subscribers. And then I did one where I was like, hi, me in 5 years. I was like, hey, in 5 years, I think you'll have 1 million. And then one that hasn't come out yet, but comes out in 2 years was hi, me in 10 years. And I tried to predict 10 years later how many subs I'd have. That's what he's referring to. And yes, there are some that are scheduled like 20 years in the future. And so if I don't die, I'll just move them up. And I remember, because I filmed these though like 7 years ago, but I remember saying a line like, if I'm dead, then I'm currently just in a coffin and like whatever, blah, blah, blah. And because the only way the video would go up is if I'm not alive. And if I'm not alive, then I won't be able to push back the schedule upload date. So it'll go public automatically.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I have a couple of those. Like if I knew I was going to die of like cancer or something and I had like 3 months to live, I would vlog every day. I'd film so many videos and then I would just schedule upload a video a week for like the next 5 years. So it's like I'm still alive and I would completely act like I'm still alive and everything. And I think something like that would be cool. I don't know why, but I've fantasized, not fantasized, but I've dreamt about that a lot. Like I don't know. If I only had 30 days to live, what would I do? And for me, I would try to make like a decade's worth of content and schedule upload it so they automatically go public in the future. And so it's just like I never died. I'm just there.
Yeah, it's a kind of immortality, but it's also a kind of troll on the concept of time.
Yeah.
That you can die in the physical space but persist in the digital space. I recorded a video like that because I had some concerns, and I just thought it's also a good exercise to do. A video would like to be released if I die. And it was actually a really interesting exercise.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like it shows like what you really care about. I guess it's like writing a will. But when you're younger, you don't think about that kind of stuff. But
Exactly. Mine was just dumb.
yeah.
Like I'm bones in a coffin.
Yeah.
Yours is probably so serious.
No, it's fun actually. What you realize is like there's no point to be serious at this point. It's a weird thing. I guess you've done this, but it's a weird thing to address the world when you, the physical you, is no longer there. So like this would only be released if you're no longer there.
Exactly.
That's a weird exercise.
You know what's funny? Of all the people listening to this,
Yeah.
we're probably the only two people that have made videos for when we die. It's like such a niche thing, and the fact that we're bonding over it's kind of funny.
I think people should think about doing that. It's not just about YouTube, it's also social media. Because think about it. Like there's going to be a last tweet and a last, I don't know, Facebook post, a last Instagram post. And I feel like there's some aspect that's meditative to just even considering making a post like that. And also it's a way for the people that love you to kind of like celebrate.
Do you think that would help them cope or not? Like if someone randomly watching this did film a video, for if they accidentally died in some freak accident to be given to their family, do you think that would, and it was like a genuine,
I think it would really help. I mean, it depends because like
how would you even intro that? Like, hey mom, if you're seeing this, it means I'm probably dead.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's how you intro it. That's the opener.
I just want you to know. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess you could say it in a kind of funny way, but and just talk about the things that mean a lot to you, because otherwise you're at the risk of the last post you have is like I don't know, talking shit about like
McDonald's my order.
Exactly.
And then you're dead. That's it. 100 years.
I don't know. This I do recommend it. It's like the Stoics meditate on death every day. In the same way, you kind of meditate on your death when you make a video like that, because it's actually not just even talking to yourself; it's talking to the world. And it like for some reason, at least for me, they made it very concrete that there's going to be an end, and I'm like, it's over for me. If I'm making the video, it's over for me. It's an interesting thought experiment. I recommend people try it. Okay. Are you afraid of death, by the way?
Yes. It's hard because like, what if you just die and then you just see nothing forever,
Yeah, the nothingness.
It just fades to blackness and you're just like that for trillions upon trillions to billions squared years. And it's scary. But also, before you're born, you don't remember those X amount of years either. So that gives me a little comfort. But no, it's definitely very scary. Something I'd rather not think about until I'm like 80. I'll deal with that problem then. I don't know if I told you this, but I'm kind of hopeful that someone like Elon or one of these like freak smart people will just like be like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to figure out a way where we can slow down aging, get it where, we can live to be 200-300 years old and just like set their sights on that and then just kind of save us. So it'd be really nice. Like it's almost absurd to think that in our lifetime, they won't figure out a way to just even slightly slow down aging where we could live to be like 120 or 130. And then that extra time, they won't figure out some way where we could live to be 200. Like obviously not immortal, but I don't see how in my lifetime, the life expectancy doesn't just expand.
Well, it also could be that the immortality is achieved in the digital realm. Like it could be long after you're gone. There's a MrBeast run by a ChatGPT type system.
Exactly. Yeah, that consumes everything I ever said, everything I ever wrote, and but I don't want that. I want to live. One of you smart people out there, figure it out. I'll keep you entertained, but I need you to figure out how to keep me alive. Give me till 200. That will make me happy.
Well, that's funny. Who owns the identity of MrBeast once the physical body is gone? Like, is it illegal to create another MrBeast that's ChatGPT based? I don't know what the laws are around that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, once I'm dead, I don't care.
Well,
but
well, you just said you did care. I mean, there could be a AI like many MrBeasts that are created after you're gone.
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool to be able to like train up a model and let them loose so my content lives on. I guess.
Yeah, but it somehow feels like it diminishes the value you contribute.
Yeah,
it's inauthentic, but it's also there's some aspect to the finiteness of the art being necessary for its greatness.
100%. Yeah, the second that thing starts spamming out videos,
Yeah.
the videos lose all meaning and it's pointless and it's a money grab.
If you ran YouTube for how long should you run it? For a year, how would you change it? How would you improve it?
It's hard because obviously I'm biased because we're doing really well, but I feel like when I open up YouTube on my television, I get the videos I want to watch. I don't know. I don't ever open it and wonder like, what are these? What are these 10 videos on my homepage? When I click on a video on my suggestion, I don't ever wonder what these are. Like I and maybe it's because I'm very adamant about like the kind of videos I watch, and I try not to watch videos that I don't want to get recommended more because that's how I think. But I'm very happy with how it is at the moment. I think one thing though that I just hate with the passion is the comment section on YouTube. It's just so bad. But that I know that's not something that's going to 10x the growth of the platform. But if you think about it, you go to Reddit to read comments, and somehow like usually the top 20 posts on a popular Reddit post are not spam. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever clicked on something on the front page of Reddit and the most upvoted reply to it is like, go check out my site right here. And it's like trying to scam you out of $1,000. Yeah. I can't even think of one instance I've ever had that happen. So like Reddit, it's so nice to click on posts and just see what people have to say. And I almost wish like you had that same feeling when you read the comments on a YouTube video. Instead, it's like, it's so many people just copy and pasting, so many bots that just grab the top comment for your previous video and paste it over. So the top comments on every video are the same. And the things that break through that are just scammers trying to get you to give them $1,000 for a free, fake ad.
That comment section is one of the most lively on the internet. So it'd be amazing if YouTube invested in creating an actual community, like where people could do high effort comments and be rewarded for it, like on Reddit.
Yeah.
Like actually write out a long thing.
That would make me so happy. Because like when I upload a video, I usually go to Twitter to see feedback. Like I read my comments and I'll flip through newest, but it's just, I feel like Reddit and Twitter just give me so much better filtered feedback, especially now that with Twitter Blue, because people pay $8 a month. I've noticed like any tweets I get from verified users now, they're usually not just garbage troll takes. Like these are people paying $8 a month. Like they're usually relatively sensible. And so it's been pretty nice. Like after I upload a video, I just go on the verified tab on Twitter and just see what people have to say. And yeah, anyways, I live for the day that YouTube's like that.
What do you think about Twitter? What do you think about all the fun activity happening recently since Elon bought Twitter?
I think he should make me CEO, like I tweeted.
Well, I should say sort of we just like a couple hours ago had a conversation with Elon, and you guys had an exchange of some excellent ideas. So yeah, I legitimately think, obviously you're exceptionally busy, but I legitimately think it would be awesome if you somehow participate in the future of Twitter.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Because there's so much possibility of different ideas. First in the sort of the content, like dissemination, hosting, and all the different recommendations, like the search and discovery, all the things that YouTube does well.
I think the most exciting thing is he's, willing to move fast. And so I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things that come out of it because he's just moving quick. And a lot of these more mature platforms just take years to do the simplest stuff, and they're very bureaucratic. And so it's it'll be interesting to see which way it goes when you just kind of take a move quick, break things, whatever type approach to social media. I'm actually pretty curious to see what features he rolls out.
So what would be your first act as Twitter CEO?
I can't spoil it.
Okay.
I gotta get hired.
What do you think about video on the platform? I mean,
Twitter?
Do you think that's an interesting, or is it like messing with the medium, the nature of the platform?
I think Twitter will always be closer to TikTok than it is to YouTube. Like at least in its current form. Like I don't see 20-minute, 1 hour long videos or whatever, even 15-minute videos being watched over there. I see it more as like the short and snappy stuff closer to TikTok.
But at the same time, Twitter is a really good comment section for the internet.
I mean, it's almost weird why doesn't Twitter allow you to embed YouTube videos? Like why does that? You should just ask Elon that. Like, I don't know if that's a YouTube thing, but when a YouTuber posts a video, why do they have to link to YouTube? Why can't they just embed it on Twitter and you just play it there? I mean, wouldn't that just solve a lot of problems?
Yeah, but then the two companies would have to agree to integrate each other's content.
I don't know, but it seems like a win-win. I mean, well, it's more of a win for Twitter because then people don't have to leave the platform. I mean, that'd be the easiest solution.
But who gets, like, when you watch the ads on a YouTube video, that's embedded in Twitter, who gets the money?
It would still be YouTube, but at least then right now people just post a link and it takes you off Twitter and it just kills your session time on Twitter.
That's really interesting. But because the Twitter, whatever the dynamics of the comments, especially once the spam bots are taken care of, Twitter just works. It's really so. Reddit is a nice comment section for the internet. It's like slower pace, more deliberate, like higher effort. Twitter's like this high paced, like ephemeral kind of stream. But there's the upvoting and the downvoting works much better because you can do retweeting, right? Because the social network is much stronger than it is on YouTube. Like the interconnectivity.
Yeah, on Reddit, you're going to get the top replies are going to be the most refined ones, whereas Twitter, stuff floats to the top that's not super refined. But like you're saying, it's more off the cuff stream of consciousness, which a lot of people prefer because it's a little more personal.
How do you think Twitter compares to YouTube in terms of how you see its future unroll in 2023?
I mean, I think YouTube's going to be YouTube and not much is really going to change, but it's going to keep growing just because, that's just what it does and because it's owned by Google. But Twitter, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things like you can't predict if a year from now an economy is going to be in a recession or booming. And I think Twitter's kind of the same thing. One thing's for certain, a lot of things are going to be rolled out, but who knows, honestly.
You responded to Elon saying Twitter's unlikely to be able to pay creators more money than YouTube. Why do you think that is?
Well, yeah, because I think the tweet I responded to was one where he was saying that they, users will jump over if Twitter could potentially pay more than other platforms. And I was just saying, obviously, because Google has Google AdWords, and I mean, that's Google's whole thing. It's putting ads on stuff. They've been doing it better than anyone else in the world for a very long time. It's very unlikely in the next few years that Twitter is going to just magically, or any platform, give a creator the ability to make higher CPMs than on YouTube. It's kind of crazy. Like some creators in December, Q4, because ad rates are higher because of Christmas and everything, some creators literally make like $30-$40 per 1,000 views. And that's after YouTube's cut. Like, it's almost like hard to think about like how high the RPMs get. And even then, once you pull out of finance and cars, the high CPM niches, and you move into just normal stuff, it's still just crazy. The sheer volume of creators and the fact that all of them get these multi-dollar CPMs at scale, it's pretty beautiful.
So you do, I don't know what you would call them, but like integrated ads in your videos, and you do it, I would say, masterfully. It's like part of the video.
Are you talking about brand deals?
Brand deals, is that what you would call that?
Yep.
So it's a brand deal. It's part of the video. It's still really exciting to watch, and yet there's a plug for the brand.
In general, just brand deals, since you brought it up, integrating them well. I think that's something a lot of creators don't do. Like, they'll just do a brand deal out of the blue. They'll just be filming a video, and then around the 3-minute mark, just start talking about a random company.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't want viewers to click away and you want people to not get pissed off and call you a sellout, you got to find a way to integrate it into content. And ideally, use the money in the video to make it better. Like, as the easiest thing you can do when you do a brand deal is just tell people how you're using money from the brand deal to make your content better. And if you do that, like, no one cares. Now they're supporting you for it. And you go from being a sellout to like, oh, I'm doing this to make better videos for you guys,
I don't know if you can share, but with those brands, when you have discussions with them, are they strict about how long you need to be talking about it? Or is it more about they're leaving control to you about the artistic element of it?
The problem is the ones who don't give us the artistic element, we just don't really work with anymore.
Sure.
Because it's just, we get 100 million views a video now, and I can confidently say I know how to entertain them and convert them better than these random brands. So, if they don't give us that freedom, I just won't work with them.
So you have that leverage, but for smaller creators,
it's a lot harder. Yeah. And they're going to just say 45 seconds, here's what you say, take it or leave it. And it's like pretty brutal. Because I think just in general, if brands were more accommodating to let creators tell their story of the brand and talk about the brand in a way that felt a little more natural, I think it'd be less cringe. People would be less likely to go, tap, 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 skip. And obviously it would convert better. But they're just so afraid, and they want this standardized thing. Say these words and 45 seconds right here at this 3-minute mark.
Yeah, I often think about how to resist that.
You just don't do them, though, right?
Not on YouTube, right? On the audio, I do ads in the very beginning, and I say you can skip them if you want.
Gotcha. But sure the brand loves that.
No, I don't. Like, the point is they. So the funny thing about podcasts is different than YouTube videos. Podcast people actually do listen to ads a lot because it's slower paced and they like the creator voice, like talking about the thing. But in general, don't believe you should be talking about a thing for a minute exactly, and that's going to be effective. I want to see the data for that. I think what's much more effective is the way you do ads, which is like integrate into the content, like put a lot of effort into making a part of that, like doing the brand deals. And it's difficult to have that conversation. It's like a very strenuous conversation you have to have with brands. You have to have each one at a time. And I just wish there was more of a culture to say like the quality of the ad read matters a lot more than the like the silly parameters, like the timing of it, like how long it is, the placement of it, all that kind of stuff.
What percentage of your viewers do you think have seen one of my videos before?
What percentage of the viewers on YouTube, right?
Yeah, of your viewers.
Of the viewers on YouTube, though, because
Yeah.
most of people.
Okay, sure, or all of them. It's just
Overall.
interesting because you're speaking very specifically like about my brand deal process, and so in my head, I'm like, I wonder what percentage of these people even have any idea what he's talking about.
That's interesting. I love the thinking about numbers.
The whole time we were having this conversation, that's all I could think about. I was like, God damn it. There's probably like 50% of these people have no fucking clue what he's saying.
Probably.
And we're about to torture him for 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
But that's something I can't turn off in my brain.
Less than 50%. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is that exciting to you that there's like 50% of people have not watched a MrBeast video? Isn't that an opportunity? Like,
yeah, I guess it's an opportunity to grow. I don't know. Honestly, I was just kind of excited to hang out with you.
Yeah, me too.
So,
I mean,
today was a lot of fun.
Who cares if there's mics?
Yeah, so it's kind of like having a buddy to go along the journey as I'm just kind of eating shit and doing my normal grind. It was like kind of fun. And also you just say really wise stuff constantly. So honestly, no, I never even put any thought into like the demographics or what I could gain. It's just interesting because like my retention brain, when you talk about something, I'm instantly like, what value are they going to get? How many of them are going to be interested? What percentage of people do I think will lose? And I'm like running all those calculations in the background. And that whole conversation, like anyway, it's just something I can't turn off. My like bells are like, error, this is bad.
What are the different strategies for high retention for your videos and in general?
It's like, how do you cook good food? You know what I mean? That's like the same kind of question.
I see. So there's so many different ways that so it boils down to, I mean, do you think at the level of a story, or do you think like literally watching 5 seconds at a time? Am I going to tune out here? Am I going to tune out here? Am I going to tune out here?
It's all of it. You need the overarching narrative, and then you also need the micro where every second, needs to be entertaining. And you basically, what's interesting is the longer people watch something, the more likely they are to keep watching. So you don't have to try as hard in the hypothetically back half of a video as you do in the front. Like even right now, we're so deep into this where a lot of people listening are probably just going to keep listening relatively close to the end unless we just have a really boring part of this conversation because they're just in it. They're immersed. And so a big, like to really boil it down to a simple level, you just want to get people where they're immersed in the content and then just kind of hold them there.
We had this discussion offline. And by the way, I should mention that this is like late at night.
It is. What time is it? It's 9 o'clock.
And I only slept 1 hour last night because I'm an idiot. And I flew to the wrong location.
Here, we're like, hey, let's just book you a hotel and a flight. He's like, no, I got it. We're like, you sure? We can just do it. We always do this. He's like, no, I got it.
He's going to have to rub it in.
I know. And then today, come to find out, he flew to the wrong airport with or a city with a similar name to ours. Just
same name.
Yeah.
Same name in a different state.
and I was like, that's why you should have let us book it. And so he's on 1 hour of sleep and he's literally been dying all day. Before this podcast, he downed like 2 things of coffee. We've been going all day hard.
Yeah, I've been got to interact with you. I should say that this gave me an opportunity I got a ride from a stranger, and it was an incredible person. I got to interact with them. So it's like there's so many kind people around here. It's just like this kind of southern energy. And then I got to go to a diner because I could, there's only 1 hour between me arriving and having to fly out. So I went to a diner. There's a really kind waitress that called me honey. So that was a beautiful moment,
I was so confused. You tweeted about that, and like Steele's like, Lex, my assistant was like, Lex isn't here yet. Yeah. And I saw your tweet and I was like, he's here. Yeah. Steele's like, no, he's still flying. I was like, an hour ago, he just tweeted about a nice diner.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you flew to the
diner. It was a diner in a different state.
And then you had to fly over here. Yeah. So and then I called you didn't answer. I was like, I was like, something's not adding up.
Yeah, I feel like such an idiot because apparently the world has cities like Springfield, right? Mm-hmm. Like every single state has a Springfield.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Okay,
I think that's
whatever.
That's like a Simpsons joke, right? That like it's the city in The Simpsons is Springfield, and I think every single state or most of them have a Springfield, and the same is true for like Georgetown. I think I forget what the most popular one was, but there's like a list of these people get when they run out of ideas, they just keep using the same
They're
thing over
your
and over.
Achilles heel.
Anyway, I got to meet a bunch of people from your team. It's just an incredible human beings. So let me just ask on that topic: how do you hire a great team? Like, what have you learned about hiring for everything for the main channel that you do,
Yeah.
for the React the game the gaming channel to MrBeast Burger to Feastables, all that.
The big thing is, especially in this content creation, because it's not like anything that's done on Netflix or different content mediums. I really need people who are coachable and like really see the value in what I care about, because it's a very specific way of going about things, and it's a thing. There's no one like plug and play. Like if Netflix wanted to hire someone to do a documentary, there's probably tens of thousands of people you could hire that have worked on documentaries before. But if you want to hire someone to make super viral YouTube videos, like we do, there's just no one you can really pull from. Like sometimes I'll hire people from game shows, right? And they have all these preconceived notions about pacing and how a video should be, and you have to spend like the first year like breaking all these habits, and and they think they're better than you. Like a lot of people in traditional think they're better, and they think their way is better than what we do. And so for me, it's almost easier to hire people that are just hard workers, that are obsessed and really coachable, and just train them how to like be good at content creation and production, than to hire someone from like traditional, which is the only way to really do it, because there's not that many YouTube channels that have scaled up. So it's not like there's a huge talent pool of people who've worked on YouTube channels. So it's easier just to train someone than just pull them from traditional, because traditional people just, I don't know, they have all these opinions and things, and they just think our way of going about things is dumb.
Yeah, so you want people who have the humility to have a beginner's mind, even if they have
And
experience.
see the value. Like
Yeah.
actually, you'll still get it. It's so crazy. Like especially some of my other friends that are scaling up their YouTube channels. There's people that will come on and you'll ask them like, "What do you want to be doing in 5 years?" And instead of saying, "Oh, I want to be working on this channel," they'll be like, "Oh, I hope to be working on movies or
Yeah.
this or that." And they see like working on a YouTube channel as a launch pad to go into traditional, and it's like, no, like you just don't get it.
This is the future.
This is the end goal.
Yeah.
This is your career. And so I'm just so tired of having those kinds of conversations. Like I feel like people really should be coming around.
Are there like recurring interview questions that you ask? Is there ways to get?
Yeah, but the biggest thing is like, what do you want to be doing in 10 years? And if their answer isn't, making content on YouTube, or, if their answer is anything like movies or traditional stuff like that, it's like just a hell no. Like it just won't even remotely work.
Oh, so you really want people to believe in the vision of YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, it's like, oh, working here. You know what I mean?
So it's less about the medium and more about just being on a great team that's doing epic stuff.
Yeah, well, and yeah, the media as well, because it's hard to put it into words, but it's just two completely different ways of going about things. Like our videos aren't scripted, and it's a lot more run and gun. And if we hypothetically blow up a giant car or whatever, like you only have one take, you know what I mean? So, and it's not scripted, and so you have to overfilm, overshoot things, overcompensate for like the dumb way of going about it. And a lot of traditional people would be like, well, just plan what you're going to say and just plan the angles. You can cut the cameras in half. You can save 50 grand here. You can save, $75,000 in editing, this and that. And it's like, yeah, but that's not authentic. Like that's, blah, blah. You get it. It's almost so obvious that it hurts to have to like constantly have these conversations, but it's what we live in.
But there's also detail, like there's a taste. Like I've watched a bunch of videos with you, and it's clear to you that you've gotten really good. I don't know what the right word is, style or taste, to be able to know what's good and not in terms of retention, in terms of just stylistically, visually.
I don't have to think. I can just watch a video, and it just screams in my head like, this is what should change based on the million videos I've watched and all these viral videos I've consumed. Like this is blah blah blah, what's optimal and things like that. It's almost like your brain's like a neural net, and like if you consume enough viral videos and enough good content, that you just kind of start to like train your brain to like see it and see these patterns that happen in all these viral videos. And so that anytime I watch a video or a movie or anything, I just can't stop thinking about what is optimal. And so it's like, it gives me a headache sometimes when I watch something too slow or I don't think is optimal. Obviously my taste isn't the end all be all. But that's something that kind of torments me, if that makes any sense.
Oh, you can't enjoy a slow moving
No, I
like
can't.
movie.
And that's not to say
The
there isn't.
retention on The Godfather is horrible.
Yeah, no, exactly. I've tried to watch that movie like 3
Yeah.
times, but and that's not to say slow movies are bad. Like there's an audience for it. It's just obviously not what I've trained my brain to like. And social media and YouTube right now, like that's just not the meta.
And in general, like you said, in neural network, you're training your brain in part on actual data,
Yep.
right? So you're actually it's data driven. So you're looking at like in terms of thumbnails and titles and different aspects of like the first 5-10 seconds, and then throughout the video, the retention, all of that. You're looking at all of that for your own videos to understand how to do it better. So that's where the neural network is training.
Yeah. Basically, there are ways you can kind of see like the most viewed videos on YouTube every day and stuff like that. And I just kind of consume those every single day. And I've been doing that for way too many years. And you just start to notice patterns. Like the thumbnails on the most viewed videos or videos that go super viral tend to be clear, tend to not have much clutter, tend to be pretty simple. Titles tend to be less than 50 characters. Intros tend to be this. Stories tend to be this. And you just kind of like, after you see those thousands and then tens of thousands of time, it just starts to click in your head. Like, this is what it looks like, you know?
So how are you able to transfer that taste that you've developed to the team? So for like, because you said like broad things, but I'm sure there's a million detailed things, like what zoom to use on the face to use in the thumbnail, right? Like
The answer is whatever makes the best video. Because the problem is the more, which I have so many friends who are like this. They'll make like checklists for their editors. They'll
Yeah.
make, this beat and this beat, and you need to have like a 3-part arc and then this. But the problem is that's how you the more constraints you put on the team, the more repetitive and less innovation you get, and the more
Yeah.
like after 10 videos, people are gonna be like, all right, I've already seen this. So to me, and I'm 24, and I'm probably my mindset will change over the next 10 years. I just haven't been in this industry too long, but the only way to like really make innovative content and keep things fresh is to not put constraints on, or
Sure.
put as little as possible. And so that's why I'm very hesitant on all that stuff, because the more I say, the more they're gonna be like, oh, then that's what we do. And then I'll say one time like, oh, ideally there's a cut every 3 seconds, and then next thing you know,
Yeah.
every video there's a cut every 3 seconds or whatever. So it's hard because I try to give as little not training, but as little facts or as possible, and more just make suggestions, if that makes any sense.
You mean publicly or to your team?
To my team, yeah.
So you talked about sort of teaching your voice or your style, whatever we want to call it, to other people on the team so they can be kind of
Yeah.
a MrBeast replacement. So what's the process of teaching that? So you don't want to
No, I got you. So you're more talking about like what I would call almost like cloning, right?
Yeah.
Like Tyler and other
Yes.
people like that. Yeah. So when we were hanging out today, I was showing him how we have multiple people in the it's almost like talking to the camera to have it.
Yeah, you turn slowly to the camera.
I was like, anyways, have it.
Is it weird to you to not be looking at the camera?
This whole interview, I constantly have been turning towards the camera. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm talking to him.
Yes.
It's a habit.
Yeah.
Because my whole life, I've just been talking to a camera.
Who are you thinking about when you're looking at the camera? Do you like imagine somebody?
I'm fully thinking about the person just sitting watching it.
Watching.
And I almost, it's
one-on-one.
weird. When I'm looking at the camera, I don't see a camera. I'm like in a haze picturing what the viewer is seeing when they watch it, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. And that's where I'll be saying things and or doing something. And then like when I'm watching, I'm like, that's not what I want. And then
Yeah.
I'll freeze up. It's very weird when I'm filming. And for people who haven't worked with me too much, they'll think like, I don't know. It's very weird, like how I go about it, because I'll just be doing whatever, like lighting a firework. All right, this is $1,000 firework, and I'll go to light it. And I'll like freeze, because in my head I'm like, this. I don't know. I don't like how that flowed or how that shot looked, because it's weird. I can perfectly picture what I'm filming by just looking at the camera and then putting myself through the lens of the camera while making content. I can do it at the same time.
So you're like real time editing
In my
the
head.
video.
Yeah. That's something that didn't at the start come natural to me, but in the last probably like 5 years, it's happened. And so I would say it's one of my greatest strengths, but I don't know how I developed it. But anytime I'm filming anything, like it's almost like the like right side of my brain, I can just look at it and I see exactly what I'm filming, and I can just picture it.
Well, it's probably recording the video, being the talent for the video, and then watching the editing and like analyzing it carefully and do that over and over and
you
over
do
and
that
over and over. You
10,000 times. Yeah.
You do the editing more than the being in front of the camera. So like you start to see yourself from that third person perspective.
Exactly.
And then maybe that actually helps with the nerves of it too. Like you see it as creating a video versus performing. Right?
Yeah. I think so. It's weird. been nervous talking to a camera. It's harder for me to talk to a person than it is to talk to a camera, which I feel like a lot of people say that though, that are whatever, make content, right?
Interesting.
I've heard that so many times. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just awkward and dumb.
Maybe they're practiced. To me, both are terrifying, but being in front of the camera by yourself is
so much easier.
Really?
Yeah, so much easier. I prefer it a million times over. But that's my whole life, you know.
Yeah,
so it's just, that's why it's interesting. Like, you've spent more of your time talking to people.
Yeah.
It comes natural, and I talk to a piece of plastic.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're talking to a person too. They're just on the other side of the camera.
Yeah, there's just a pixel on a screen.
So cloning. How do you achieve the?
Oh yeah, that's right. This whole rabbit trail. So I was showing him that I have a lot of people in the company who are able to think like me and basically make decisions like I would make if I was like, if you were asked, hey, in this video, should we climb a mountain or should we dig a hole?
Yeah.
Right. And like, you know, they would pick the same answer I'd pick 90+% of the times. And so like one example is Tyler, who I was showing you, when he was pitching some content. And like, you could see like this, he was on point. And basically for just 4 or 5 years, we just spent an absurd amount of time together and worked on every single video together. And we worked side by side. And same thing with my CEO, James. He literally lived with me for a couple of years. I'm a big fan of just like finding people who are super obsessed and all in and A players that, you know, they really just want to be great and then just dumping everything I have in them.
And like you were saying, because I'd love to find that and develop that. You were saying you're basically for a long time just said everything you were thinking to them.
Exactly. Like James, the guy who's basically my right hand man right now, for 2 years he lived with me and we probably talked on average over those 2 years 7 hours a day. I mean, anytime I had a phone call, I'd throw it on speaker and I'd let him listen. Anything I was reading, any content I was consuming, like really just training his brain to think like me. So that way he could just do things without my input, without me having to constantly watch over him or give him advice. And that's where we've gotten. Like, so for the first 6 months, he didn't do anything. He just studied me and studied everything I cared about and how I spoke and blah, blah. And then the next 6 months, he started taking on some responsibilities. And now he can just run the company and, you know, I don't ever really have to check in on him. Like most of the decisions he makes are exactly what I would do. And so I call that cloning. I don't know what other people would, but it's just like finding people that are really obsessed and they just kind of really want it and just being like, giving them an avenue to like get it, if that makes any sense.
Another way to see it is you're converging towards a common vision, and that makes like brainstorming much more productive.
Yeah, it just makes it where I don't have to be so involved in everything because I just have these people I know will think like I will, at least relatively close to it. So I can kind of almost be in multiple places at once per se. And so these things that, you know, I still approve every idea we film and, you know, everything before we film it, all the creative, I approve it, but I don't have to like be in the weeds and nuances and do all this minor stuff. I can just let them handle it. I can just do the more macro things.
I got a chance to sit in to a lengthy brainstorming session with Tyler and others. Yeah. That was really cool. Can you talk about the process of that, of people pitching ideas and you pitching alternatives or shutting down ideas and just going like plowing through ideas very quickly?
I mean, you kind of just described exactly what we did. Yeah.
I mean, but the ideas are really good. It's just tossing out like different categories of ideas, and then also fine-tuning them to see, like, how do I change, like, thinking about the titles and the thumbnails.
I work so well off of inspiration. It's like, that's something, like, give me any word. I don't know. Make it relative. Space. Yeah, like, I went to space. You know, what happens if you blow up a nuke in space? Or I went to the moon. I went to Mars. Right? Because you said that one word, it was able to inspire me to come up with 4 ideas. And so that's just, it's, for me, the way to get 100 million views on a video is you need something original, creative, something people really need to see, ideally never been done before, all these like things. And so you need like, if you want to consistently go super viral, you need just a constant stream of ideas. And the only way I've really found that I can consistently come up with 100 million view videos is to intake inspiration and then see what my brain outputs. And so that's kind of at its core foundation what I'm doing there. It's just like intaking a lot of random inspiration to see what spawns in my mind so I can output it.
But the neural network of your brain is generating the video, the title, the thumbnail, all like jointly. Right?
Exactly. And that only comes because I spent 10 years of my life just obsessively studying all that stuff.
Because it seems like you would literally potentially shut down a video just because you can't come up with a good title.
Yeah,
or a good
100%. Or
thumbnail.
a thumbnail. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened to 70% of those in that pitch session. I was just like, oh, what was one of them? Genius versus 100 people, or
Yeah, like maybe average intelligence versus genius or something like
yeah,
that. Or
yeah. I was like, what the heck is the thumbnail? Even if the title was good.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, but yeah, if people don't click, they don't watch.
that's so interesting. But you developed over time the ability to kind of give it what makes for a good title? Short.
Not just short. It's also, I mean, if someone reads it, are they like, do they have to watch it? Is it just so intrinsically interesting that it's just gonna fuck with them if
Yeah.
they don't click on it? You know what I mean?
So it doesn't have to be short, but it has to be like you almost want to have a retention to word by word reading.
Ideally, it's a title also that because the titles don't live in a vacuum, right? So it has to lead into the content. So ideally, the title represents content that you would want to watch for 20 minutes. So if it's a 20-minute video and the title is "I stepped on a bug," it's not gonna, because it's all of it combined. The click through rate is going to be much lower. And then if it was like a 5-second video, people might click it. So you gotta, like, even nuances of the length of the video based against the title will affect whether people want to click it, because sometimes they just all add up. I mean, it's that. Yes, ideally you want it below 50 characters, because above 50 characters on certain devices, you run the chance of it going ... So like, I took a light pole and I saw how many dollar bills I could stack on top, and they would just go ... because it's too long and it can't finish it. And that's the worst thing, because then people don't even know what they're clicking on. And so it's going to do even worse. Short, simple, ideally, and just so freaking interesting, they have to click. And it is a good segue into the content, and it represents the length of the content.
And there's probably stuff it's hard to convert into words for you, like I stepped on a bug versus stepping on a bug versus MrBeast stepped on a bug versus
well, I mean, that
bug stepping
it's funny
video.
you bring that up. So it's like, yes, the more extreme the opinion, typically the higher the click-through rate. If you can like pay it off in the content, then it just supercharges it. So like,
so you have a kind of estimate of the extreme.
like this water, right? If you're like, Fiji water sucks,
yeah,
that would do fine. But if you said Fiji water is the worst water bottle, or the worst water I've ever drank in my life,
yeah,
way more extreme opinion would do way better.
but you have to deliver.
Yeah, but then you have to deliver, because the more extreme you are, the more extreme you have to be in the video.
Yeah, that's almost inspiration for you to step up.
Yeah, but you can be more extreme in a positive way. A lot of people, it's easier though. Positive, negative clickbait is much easier than positive clickbait. It just is. It's so much easier to get negative clicks, and so a lot of people are just, in my opinion, a little bit lazier, and they just take the route like, oh, well, this one gets the same amount of clicks, and it's easier, less effort.
The positive one is doing a large number of numbers of something. Like I spent this number of hours doing this.
Or whatever. If you just wanted to help people, or right, it's just harder to get 10 million views on a video helping people than it is to get 10 million views on a video tearing down a celebrity. You know what I mean? Or whatever negative video you want to insert there.
Well, that said, most of your videos are pretty positive.
Yes.
So
but not a lot of people do those kinds of videos because they're hard.
Yeah, they're hard.
Yeah.
Some of that is giving away money, right?
Yeah.
What's the secret to that? How do you do that right?
Yeah.
Like
give away money, or
in a video to make it compelling. Is it so? There's a number that is better than another number, right?
The higher number is always better than the lower number. Okay. Yeah, for the most part. And it's interesting. Like, some videos will give away $1 million. Some videos will give away $500,000. There's not really. I guess so. I'm retracting what I just said. I was more joking with that, but there's no difference whether I put 500K or $1 million. There's probably not even really a difference between 100K or $1 million. I haven't really looked into it. Like, some of our most of the videos are not us giving away $1 million, and sometimes the $1 million videos just don't do as well as the other ones. So there is a certain point where a dollar amount is just a large dollar amount to an average human, and so I think that point is 100K. Like, anything above 100K, the average human is just like, that's a lot of money. Like, it doesn't 100K and $1 million like doesn't really move the needle, if that makes sense. Which that's a very nuanced piece of information that applies to very few people, but yeah.
Well, no, I think it applies. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Our relationship with money is fascinating. Like, why is it so exciting to get? I mean, the times I've found like $20 in the ground are like incredible.
Really?
I don't know why, right? Why?
Really?
Why are you so happy? Like, what exactly is so joyful about that? I mean, it depends where you are in life, what the situation is. Yeah, I don't know. There's also a gamified aspect to it. It's exciting.
Yeah,
it's fun.
No, I get it. Like, why people want to see people win money. It's just interesting that past 100 grand, it doesn't really seem to make a difference. Like, it's the same basically.
So you found that to be true with all the money you've given away. That
Just in click-through rate. Like, obviously, in terms of someone receiving it,
Yeah.
$1 million changes their life drastically more. Like, that's the difference. Like, if you wanted to, you could really quit your job. As opposed to 100K is like, not really.
you probably do like a scientific study, like a formula, giving away money to click-through rate.
Yeah.
There could be some kind of
I got
diminishing
it.
return.
It definitely, the returns level off dramatically after 100K. That's
100K.
basically the premise.
What about 10,000?
No, there's 100,000. It's funny because this is such a small niche thing, but yeah, 100,000 does it from what I see in our videos get more clicks than 10,000. But the difference between 100,000 and a million is just so little. I think big number to a lot of people past that point.
Yeah, so for 100,000, you can, like, give an average salary, you can probably live for a year, given what the average salary is in America. So that's like that feels.
Yeah, I think it's also just more when they read the title. It's just like it's a lot of zeros. It's like fuckloads of zeros. Okay, click.
Yeah. Oh man, that's fascinating. So on the thumbnail side, again, that's going to be much harder to say probably. But offline, I got a chance to look at a bunch of thumbnails, and it's fascinating which ones do well and which ones don't. Is there something you could say about what are the elements of a thumbnail that work well? Yeah. Or is this also deeply instinctual?
Well, that's where, it's the same thing. Like, how do you cook good food? But it's easier if you pull up a thumbnail and I could be like, that's why that's good. That's why that's bad. That's like an example would be like one of my friends, he just uploaded a video recently and I called him. I was like, what is this? Because he's a very, very smart guy. And in the thumbnail, he's getting chased by cops, but the cops were wearing yellow vests. So they didn't look like cops. So I was like, oh, why are the cops in your thumbnail wearing yellow vests? It's like, that makes it so much more boring. Yeah. And he was like carrying a flag, but the pole and the color of the flag were the same color. So it's like, it's a lot harder to see the flag. I was like, also, you're wearing like a shirt with like 5 different colors. Like, so it's like, it's hard to tell what your outline is. And then in the background, there were cars. And I was like, well, if you have cops chasing you, why not make the cars cop cars? And, and it's like, because in my head, I'm like, dang, if you just did those like 4 or 5 things, the video probably would have got like 7x the views.
How much iteration? Because I also got a chance to see the number of iterations you do on just a random thumbnails.
It's a problem now. It's an addiction.
Is it? So you kind of, because a lot of the versions were really good.
Yeah.
How do you know when to like?
I love how when we pulled up that the burger one and we were flipping through them, you're like, that's really good. I was like, oh, that's version like 1 of like 1,000.
But even the sketch, the idea was good. Like already, even the original idea is strong.
Yeah, so one of our coming up videos, we made the world's largest plant-based burger, and the thumbnail we were thinking is like me standing beside the burger because it's 6 feet tall. And that's what he's talking about. So like, just picture a giant 6-foot tall burger, super wide, thousands of pounds, and then I'm beside it, and then it's like eating the world's largest burger. Like that's just something you have to click. Like, so you were saying like, how would you describe a good thumbnail? Like that, you know what I mean? Like,
but I think you said the one I noticed first that was good, where you were very small in it. Relative to and you didn't like that one. I
needed to come forward a little bit, and also the photo we took was just my upper body. Yeah. So they photo manipulated and created my legs in Photoshop, and that's why I said I didn't like it, because my right leg was a little like off. It was like bent the wrong way because I had to build those legs in Photoshop.
Well, I mean, does the physics in a thumbnail have to even make sense? I mean, you can just like exaggerate the head size and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, things don't have to be relative. Yeah, you can have a car in the background and be 3 times the size. Because every one of my thumbnails, my face is in the left side, very big. So brand recognition, so just people know. Oh, especially because now that a lot of people copy our videos, it's just nice to like, everyone else might make thumbnails like this, but this is mine. Yeah. And obviously, we usually over deliver and do bigger stuff.
Would you recommend to other creators that want to make it big and they see MrBeast and they look up to you, to copy some elements of you, or to really try to be unique?
Unique, 100% unique. You're not. The next MrBeast, quote unquote, it feels weird saying that in third person, but whatever, is not going to do what I'm doing better. They're going to just invent their own lane. Like, you're just not going to do what I do better than me. I have so many, I literally have the best people in the world working here. And I reinvest everything I make, even to this day. You know what I mean? Like, it's absurd the amount of money I spend on content. And I don't care. I'll just stop sleeping and I'll just film every hour of the day. Like, you're just not going to beat me at my own game. And that's fine. You shouldn't. Like, I didn't get where I am by just beating someone else at their own game. I just found my own lane and innovated and adapted. And so, there's a lot of people that do copy me, and it's fine, whatever, do it. But just know you're not going to get to where I am doing that. And so I'd advise you don't.
You give away a lot of the secrets basically everything
Yeah.
about how you operate. Is there?
I don't hold anything back. Go
Yeah.
for it. You know.
How do you think about that? Because that's pretty rare.
I think, and this is definitely not. Most people in my stance, I don't think would take this, or my position would take this stance. But I see every other YouTuber or person on social media, even because we're also focused super heavily on YouTube. But last year, we were also the most followed TikTok creator in the world as well. Last year, we were most subscribed to YouTube channel in the world and the most followed TikTok account in the world. But in general, I just see everyone else as collaborators, not competitors. I don't think giving advice and helping other creators do well in any way harms me, and I think it only brings more value to my life.
How was it jumping on TikTok and trying to understand that platform from scratch?
Yeah.
So from being a successful YouTuber to understand a totally different algorithm, fundamentally different algorithm. What was that like?
It's interesting. Well, not even just the algorithm, just the content. Like I'm going from basically 15-minute short films to sub 1 minute vertical content. It's a whole different just ballpark. And so the first little while I was doing TikTok, it was just kind of figuring out what does MrBeast look like in this short form content. But recently we've really started to catch our stride and come up with some original concepts and figure out how to innovate over there, just like we did on YouTube. Because I didn't want it to just be shitty YouTube videos.
Yeah.
You know? And so like an example is we played The Rock for 100K and rock, paper, scissors, and the loser had to donate 100K to charity. We did we went to random people on a campus and we offered them. So I said, I'll give you $100 if you fly to Paris and give me a baguette. And then they said no. And then I was like, I'll give you $300 if you fly to Paris and give me a baguette. And I was expecting this person to say no and it go up to like 10 grand. And he's like, yes. And so he flew to Paris, got a baguette and brought it back and gave it to me. And that across everything got like 450 million views. And because it's just really cool just to see this random guy get on a plane, spend a day in Paris, and we cut it up real nicely and bring it back. And so we're starting to find just tons of original content over there.
But it seems like an epic video to make for a 1 minute.
Exactly. No one on short form's doing it. That's the thing. It's like, it's just so funny because like TikTok's been big for a while now, years. And then, you know, as we started to really figure out things on the YouTube channel and get it cranking where I have some free time, we set our sights on TikTok and like, okay, what are people not doing? How do we make it better, put in more effort, make it good? And we did the same thing we did at YouTube, just different over on TikTok. And it worked. And now we're the fastest growing or most followed TikTok account in 2022. And it's just funny that no one else did that.
And you're not afraid to do epic stuff, which also during the brainstorming, some of the ideas you're like, that's better as a short. That's crazy.
Yeah. Can you remember one? Because I remember I said that a bunch, but I can't think of one.
All I remember is that there were like epic videos. Like, really? You're going to do that for a 1 minute video?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, like, are you posting similar content to a YouTube short as a TikTok?
Yeah, those we just double up. It's just hard. You know, what's actually pretty fascinating, and people who do social media listening to this will probably find this pretty interesting, is picture like the content creation meta 3 years ago versus now, where you can make sub 1 minute vertical content and it go viral on TikTok, it go viral on YouTube Shorts, it go viral on Instagram Reels, it goes viral on Facebook, it goes Reddit, you know, you swipe through vertical content now, and Twitter when you click on a video and you flip through it. Mm-hmm. So this is actually very weird. This is the first time in the history of, I guess, Western social media that one form of content could actually go super viral on every single platform. It's never been like that before.
So they're going viral individual. They're not
like I can post something
or whatever.
I can post something on TikTok that'll get 100 million views, and then post it on Shorts and it'll get 200 million views, and then post it on Instagram and it get 50 million views, and then I haven't yet, but you can then turn around and tweet it and it get tens of millions of views, and you can post it on Reddit and it get tens of millions of views, and Facebook and get tens of millions of views, and that just wasn't a thing 3 years ago. Twitter didn't have. Because a lot of you probably don't even know this, but when you tap on a video now and you swipe down, it just turns into TikTok. That wasn't a thing even a year ago. Reddit, that wasn't a thing a year ago. Probably 2 years ago, that wasn't a thing on Instagram. 3 years ago, that wasn't a thing on YouTube, right? With YouTube Shorts. So this is all new. And it's weird. I haven't heard a single person talk about it, but this is the first time where content can actually go viral on every single platform. And you don't have to write or film a video for Facebook, film a 12-minute video for YouTube, film a sub 60-second video for TikTok, write a tweet for Twitter, and post this on Reddit. You can just do the same thing on every platform.
And the fact that your content has gone viral on multiple platforms regularly means that virality is not accidental. Or sometimes it can be, of course, but
it's just not.
It can be engineered.
So many people say it's luck, and they're like, you're just lucky or this or that, but what are we up to? Probably like 1,000 videos over 10 million views. Like we don't ever have a dud. Like you can call it luck, but I think it can be trained. I counsel YouTubers all the time and show them how to go from getting a couple million views a month to 10 million views a month very easily. And if I even certain ones, like just one of my friends, like he was just really struggling, and so I just started showing him basically everything I know and just doing like once every week, sometimes once every 2 weeks calls. And he went from $10,000 a month on YouTube to over 400,000 just doing these little counseling calls. And so, I mean, people can make excuses all they want and say it's just luck or say, well, anyways, I don't even want to quote all the other stuff, but it's just, it is a teachable skill. It's a learnable skill. You can study your way to consistently make viral videos, no matter how small your channel is. Even if you have 0 subscribers, you could, if you actually studied hard enough. And like, basically, if you knew what I knew and some of these, so I don't sound so arrogant, also like some of these other friends I have that I would say are the smartest people in the world when it comes to content creation online, if you had the knowledge that was in our heads, you could do it very easily. I see people do it all the time. And what's even more interesting is I go on podcasts and I say everything I know. And these people are also very open. Some of them I know. It's all out there. And a lot of people, instead of just studying that and trying to absorb and apply it in their own way, they're just like, no, it's just luck,
So you do lay it all out there, but I got to push back to one interesting thing. I think a crucial component of your success is the idea stage, the idea generation, the brainstorming I heard today, but getting really good at generating ideas. So it's not just the selection of the thumbnail and the title, that creative process. It's also just the engine of generating really good ideas.
Of course.
And getting that. I mean, I would say that is probably the thing that needs to be trained the most for most creators, right? That they just don't put enough ideas on paper.
Yes, but also a lot of creators also just don't, which I didn't either for the longest time, just don't make good enough content, content that's worthy of getting 10 million views.
In the idea or the execution of the idea?
Both. I mean, like think about how many people just make videos, they film them in under 20 minutes and they don't really put any effort into it. And like, it's like, my first 500 videos didn't deserve to get 1 million views. Like, there's a reason they didn't. They were terrible, what I mean? But at the time, I thought they did, right? And I'm in the mindset of a lot of small YouTubers where I thought those videos deserved 1 million views, and I thought the algorithm hated me. But I watch them back now, and I can tell you exactly why. The videos were just fucking horrible. You know what I mean?
Well, so what was the breakthrough for you to start realizing, to start having a self-awareness, about these videos aren't good enough? You're probably still going through that. You're probably still growing to see, like,
yeah, every 6 months you should look back and hate your videos, or at least see things you could improve and be like, oh, I could have done this better, that better. If not, then you're not learning quick enough, in my opinion, at least.
Where's the source of that learning even for you now?
It's
just look at.
I mean, I just got back from I just got back from a mastermind where I just got like 10 of the smartest people I knew, and we just locked ourselves in a cabin and taught each other stuff. Constantly, every day, not every day now, probably every other day, I go on a walk and I just call random people. I'll just say, teach me something. And I mean, it's just, you just have to have a never ending thirst for learning. Like, that's very imperative, especially if you want to get on top and then stay on top. The only way to do it is just to constantly be learning. Or someone who is learning is just going to, have a leg up on you in the knowledge game.
And what kind of stuff are you, because you've talked about offline that you just love learning of all kinds. It doesn't matter. But in terms of videos, are you studying videos? Are you studying?
Recently, not as much. I'm more, because to get to the videos I want, I have to build this business and scale up and hire. Right. So more of my recent time has been, like, my teenage years were spent studying virality and studying content creation. Now I'm studying how to build a content company so I can actually produce the crazy ideas I want to produce, if that makes any sense.
So yeah, on that, the business side, we talked about hiring. Do you have trouble firing people?
No, I'm pretty sure almost every person, actually every person I've ever fired, we just give them severance. And I like to see it more as, it's no ill will. Like if I fired you, if there's some other job you want me to help you get, I'll DM them on Twitter. Like, if you want to go work for, I don't know, insert whatever, MTV, give me someone to DM. I'll DM them. Like, I try to make it more like a transition and do whatever we can to make it as easy as possible.
And if something was just not working for you, because you want people, like you said, super passionate.
Because at the end of the day, if you hold someone that you onto someone that you don't see being here in 10 years, you're just doing them a disservice. You're just giving them more ingrained, more enrooted in where they are. And the sooner you do it and help them move on to their new life, the better.
Given all the wisdom you have now, if you were to give advice to somebody, or if you were to start over again, you had no money, what would be the first 10 videos you tried to make?
Ooh.
on a new channel? I guess that's advice for a new person.
Huh.
And nobody knows you.
Yeah, nobody knows me. Yeah, like hypothetically, I have a mask on.
And you also, I guess, don't have the wisdom.
But if I don't have what I have in my head, then I would say just fail. Like, just a lot of people get analysis paralysis, and they'll just sit there and they'll plan their first video for 3 months. And
Yeah.
I'm any of you listening, if you, especially if you have 0 videos on your channel, your first video is not going to get views. Period. It's not. Your first 10 are not going to get views. I can very confidently say that. So stop sitting there and thinking for months and months on end, and just get to work and start uploading. Like, all you need to do, this applies to people who have not uploaded videos but have dreams of being a YouTuber, is make 100 videos and improve something every time. Do that. And then on your 101st video, we'll start talking, like, maybe you can get some views, but your first 100 are going to suck. There are very freak cases like Liza Koshy or Emma Chamberlain who have really good personalities, and it doesn't take them as many videos. And it's just like people who are 7'5" and making the NBA. Like, yes, there are freak cases you can find, but for the average person like us, who don't have these exceptional personalities and backgrounds in filmmaking, just make 100 videos, improve something each time, and then talk to me on your 101st video.
Well, the improve something each time is the tricky one. How do you improve something each time?
The second one, just, I don't know, put more effort into the script. The third one, try to learn a new editing trick. The fourth one, try to figure out a way that you can have better inflections in your voice. The fifth one, try to, study a new thumbnail tip and implement it. The sixth one, try to figure out a new title. There's infinite ways. That's the beauty of content creation online. There's literally infinite ways, from the coloring to the frame rate to the editing to the filming to the production to the jokes to the pacing, to every little thing can be improved, and they can never not be improved. There's literally no such thing as a perfect video.
So if you knew everything you know now, but no money.
Step one would, I just brainstorm, like, okay, I don't have money. What are some viral things? Like, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is something as simple as when I counted to 100,000, which is what I did do when I was poor. And like that worked. But like, what's something like that I could do that would be even more attention grabbing?
Yeah, you were, as part of the brainstorm, you would throw out a lot of ideas, and people throw out a bunch of ideas. And one of the questions is this even doable? Right?
Yeah. First off, come up with ideas you think would do well, and then ask yourself later if they're doable.
Yeah.
Because there's different ways you can accomplish something.
Don't be cynical about the doability of stuff.
Yeah, because there really are so many different ways you can accomplish a goal. Like when we give away an island, like we gave our 100 million subscriber an island.
Yeah.
You can't find private islands that, don't look like shit for less than $10 million. So this isn't doable, right? All right, the idea doesn't exist, not doable, exit off. But then, you dig into it and you find different alternatives, and you find, okay, well, what if we just buy a $2 million island that sucks, and then spend $1 million, importing some sand. Let's build a beach. Let's import 300 trees. Let's build a little bit of canal. Let's cut some paths. Boom. Now it's a really nice island, but it's actually affordable because we don't have $10 million to spend on a video, but we can afford to spend 3.5 and lose whatever $1 million on that video. So like, that's an example of like, yeah, if you just went off the gut test, you're like, this isn't doable. Every island's $10 million. We're screwed. Like, if we go cheaper, it's just a terrible island. No. And so if you there are so many different ways you can achieve what you want. You really got to push through no's, which not a lot of people do. You have to have like more of a dominant personality and just a willingness to, when people tell you it's not possible, just actually go through all the variables and eliminate them all yourself.
Have a stubbornness and a resilience to failure, maybe.
For what we do and creators online, it's very imperative that you have that a no isn't a no to you. Like, you really have to like think and just like we take a personality test, and like just having a dominant personality is a better indicator that when someone tells you, oh, there's no way you're going to build a brick wall for under 100 grand, you'll be like, okay, and then still go check the next 10 vendors and figure it out.
Yeah. What advice would you give to an already established channel, like with 1, 2, 3, 4 million subscribers? Mm-hmm. How to like 10x it, like increase it, without losing maybe?
Yeah, that's where it's very specific, like channel by channel. You can't give general advice.
Okay.
Yeah, because if I do, millions of creators are gonna see this, and then they're gonna do it, and I'm gonna fuck them over.
Oh, I see. So let's say I'd like 2 million subscribers on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, how would you 10x that without sacrificing what it is?
10x your stuff.
Does it matter? So you've talked about what's success.
Yeah, it's different for everyone. Like, is 10xing your definition of success?
No.
Well, then it's gonna right off the bat, it's hard, because if you don't give a shit about 10xing, it's even harder to 10x. He does this because he likes helping people. That's one thing I've found throughout this day. Every time I talk data, it's so funny with him, because it's like, you could do this to get more views, and he'll just be like blank. I'll see like that doesn't register anything in him.
Yeah.
He's just like doesn't care, which is it's really cool.
I'm really nervous about that. I'm really nervous about the numbers affecting, because it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun to focus on the numbers, and I'm really worried about that. But at the same time, you should be cognizant of that, because you've created not just some of the most watched videos, but some of the most amazing videos ever. So there's a strong correlation there. It's not like you're selling your soul to make a highly viewed video. It's actually, if you look at the metrics, it helps you understand what is compelling and not. And so I feel like I am, I feel like there's some value to investigate what work, when people tune on and when not, to be more data driven, even on podcasts. But I'm really afraid of that.
On the flip side, I think part of the appeal is that you don't care about that kind of stuff.
But there could be stuff that doesn't have to do anything with that, and it has to do with stylistic choices of lighting and cameras, or maybe with, for example, topics.
Yeah.
You know, like
even what you've asked me here is like different than what most people ask me.
Yeah, so it could be. I mean, and it'd be nice to understand that. But yeah, again, I'm worried about polluting the creative
At the end
process,
of the day, it's this is a true case of it's your own intuition. Like your viewers better than anyone else. Whatever.
See, I'd like to push back on that. I really don't.
You do.
I don't.
Who else? Name one person who knows your viewers better than you.
Somebody that looks at numbers of podcasts.
No, you know your viewers. You know you're the only. How many episodes have you done?
350.
Exactly.
But I'm not paying attention.
You're the only one who's watched every second of all 350 of them. Probably.
Okay, that's just not. No, well, I haven't. But
because you did it, so you do know what's in all of them. Your content is you. People. I'm telling you, you do. And this is just one of those moments where you're an intelligent guy, and you just have to trust your instincts. Like, just think, what is the typical X viewer? And what do they want?
I don't think like that.
But that's all you would have to do. And whatever your gut tells you, that would be the best guess.
You don't know what the typical viewer is, though. I don't, because to investigate that would be very, very difficult. And then you have to start looking at the numbers. You have to start to consider demographics. Yeah. The only way I know that anybody even watches it is because I'll sometimes run into people, like when I run along the river, and they'd be like, "I love you, Lex." It's like, okay, well that's a data point. And they're like cool people, but I don't know. I don't have any other. It's difficult, man. It's difficult to know. It's difficult to know who listens to podcasts. It's difficult to. Do you have a sense of who's? I mean, you're so huge that everybody watches.
Yeah. But no, I still do. I'd say if you were to just put a gun to my head and you're like, all right, we're gonna pick a random person that watched your last video, and you have to roughly guess what they are, and if you're not close, we'll kill you. I would say probably a teenager that plays video games. Some that would be probably the typical one. And then there are people that are maybe a little bit younger. A lot of people that are older as well. But in a random sample size, yeah, it's probably a male boy that plays video games. That's the best way I would describe it. But I don't try to pertain to him. I just make whatever I think is interesting and good content. And this is what we were talking about before. Even though hypothetically 35 to 40% of my audience is women, which is less than a majority. If we get 100 million views a video, that's still 30 to 40 million females that watch every video, which is probably the largest, views per video for women on the whole platform, which you wouldn't think that, I can't think of a single other creator that gets more women to watch their videos than that. And so it's just anything, even people above the age of 30, even if it's only 3 or 4%, that's still 3 to 4% of 100 million views is a lot of people that age. So we hit a large group of kind of every demographic, if that makes any sense.
So what if we look at other maybe more challenging kinds of channels, or not, but if we look at educational, for example, like lectures, or if we look, educational, it could be short videos. How would you 10x that? Something on robotics, on biology, on science, on engineering, on all of that. That's more educational focused.
We would honestly just have to pull because it's the same way if you went to Gordon Ramsay and you said, how would a new cook better? It's
even then, that's not even specific. You have to go channel by channel.
You really do, or I'm giving horrible advice. Because if there was these just golden rules, everyone would do it. You know what I mean? If there's these magical little principles.
How quickly, when you look at a channel, can you kind of give advice?
Yeah, it's surface level at the start, and then the more, if we watch 10 videos, I feel like I'd have a good profile, and I could tell you, in my opinion, especially once I look at the analytics and I get more ingrained in okay, the typical viewer is this, they're from here, here's how they're feeling, because there are people who make videos for rednecks, and like the rednecks taste of content is just so much different than obviously women watching makeup videos, which are so much different than, teenage boys watching a Minecraft video. They're just all different. So the biggest thing you have to do is put your head in the headspace of the viewer and see the content how they would. Because if you just try to only give your taste, which is what a lot of people do, and things from your perspective, it's very biased and it's just not going to work for everyone. And that's actually how you do more harm than good, which is something I'm very careful of.
Yeah, but at the same time, just generating a lot of ideas. I think the first time I've talked to you was on Clubhouse, actually.
Yeah.
And I mentioned something about robots, and like almost immediately went to generating a bunch of ideas around robots.
Easily.
It's just
100 robots versus 100 humans. Yeah. How far can a robot throw a potato?
I think your idea, like the first idea was because you just said so many ideas I never even thought of, but it shows the value of basically brainstorming with people that think differently.
But at the end of the day, my ideas are probably, might lean towards some people a little bit younger than your audience, like some of the stuff.
But there's still ideas. Like I think the first one you said, because we're talking about quadruped, like robot dogs. You said to replace a biological dog with a robot dog and see if the owner notices something. You were just quickly brainstorming different ideas of like how.
This was years ago. I remember that. Yeah.
Which is just, I mean, it's like, oh yeah, I never really thought about that kind of. So it's the tension between what does it take for a robot and our AI system to replace the biological systems that the biological creatures that we love in our lives. Yeah. But like, that was like the pace of idea generation was the thing that struck me today. And in general, it's like, that's how you get at good videos is you keep thinking.
It's much easier to make a video around a good idea, obviously, than a bad one. Like you just setting yourself up for success.
Okay, so that's for 10xing already popular channel. What's the hardest number? You said the numbers that matters: click-through rate, average view duration, and surveys. What's the hardest number to optimize for?
Probably surveys.
Do you have an insight into the surveys at all?
No, not really. But if you just click on a bunch of random videos online, you'll eventually get a survey. Was this video transformative, heartwarming, inspiring? What people rate does make a difference. And it's like you can get people to click a video, you can get them to watch it, but you can't really fake whether or not they're satisfied. Like they don't lie, the surveys, maybe one person here or there might troll, but once you aggregate enough, it's a pretty clear telltale of the video. So either you're making a great video or you're not.
What is it? Minimizing the non-regrettability.
Yeah, I think Elon tweeted that that's what he's trying to do on Twitter.
For Twitter, and that's interesting. That's basically the survey metric, how happy you are that you've been using the platform.
Yeah, Elon tweeted, we want to limit the amount of regrettable minutes people spend on Twitter. And the first thing I thought is like, that's something YouTube already has unlocked, like their whole survey system and feedback loop.
How tough is it to take on YouTube, you think? Like
for Twitter?
Yeah, for Twitter, for anybody else.
I mean, it's going to be basically impossible. I mean, YouTube's not going anywhere. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think anyone's going to do what YouTube does better than them, at least not in the next 10 years.
You asked on Twitter, would you rather have $10 million or 10 million subscribers on YouTube? What would your own answer be at various stages in your career?
If I had nothing, I would say $10 million. So, because with $10 million, you can hire some people and pump out content, and with like $1 million or two, get 10 million subscribers, and then keep the other 8 million.
So that's if you believe in your ability to grow a channel. If you
don't believe in your ability to grow a channel, then you shouldn't take the 10 million subscribers because you're just going to kill the channel. So the 10 million is definitely a better question would be, would you rather have $1 million or 10 million subscribers? That's where it gets a little tricky, because now it's like, $1 million, life-changing amount of money. But if you semi know what you're doing, you probably make $1 million off a 10 million subscriber channel, but there is a little bit of risk.
So $1 million might not be enough to build a strong team. Because you don't know how to do it, so you might waste all of that money.
Yeah, or they just keep it and retire. Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, because 10 million is just so high, it's like, just never work again. Who cares? For the average human, that's so much money.
It's interesting to me also to the value of the subscriber versus the value of the dollar. I suppose, how valuable is a subscriber for, like what percentage of the videos, like how active are the subscribers in watching the video? For you?
That's hard. I don't know. I was actually thinking more about the subscriber to dollar. Like if someone has 10 million subscribers, have they made $10 million? I don't know why that kind of popped in my head. It's an interesting thought.
Do you ever, when you analyze videos, do you ever analyze videos like we've talked about offline of other videos across the YouTube in general, just to understand trends, to understand the social behavior and
Well,
all that kind of stuff?
not all, but a lot of the questions are analytics based.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so
because I
funny.
love it. I mean, it's just like a giant social experiment, right? Like what people like to watch, what people share.
Yeah.
It's like a
And
fascinating
so I
look.
hate to, so back, like I said before, what percentage of your audience do you think care about this kind of stuff? Like this deeply about YouTube analytics?
I think a large amount care about uh, curiosity and exploration of interesting ideas.
Uh-huh.
So
And
in
this
that
would fit
sense,
it. Yeah.
yeah, this would this would fit it. I love it.
This is funny. And this isn't me like trying to like I love you. And I
Yeah,
actually I
love you
loved your
too.
Magnus one and even your Hikaru one was really good. And a bunch of other ones. But I think we're getting to the point now
Yeah.
where only analytics junkies would want to keep hearing more analytics talk. And the normie is probably like they've had their dose of YouTube talk for the next 3 years. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, comment if I'm wrong. I could be. I don't know your audience. See, this is where you would tell me, shut up. I know my audience, you dumbass.
And I don't at all. I just follow the thread of curiosity. And I think there's just a lot of curious humans in the world. And to me, it's like, so the question about analytics is the question of basically stepping away, stepping outside of yourself and thinking, why the hell do I like TikTok so much? Why do I like Twitter so much? Why do I like YouTube so much? And getting, even if you're not a creator, getting an insight into that is really interesting. It's like, what, because all these platforms are fundamentally changing the nature of content. People are reading books less. They're probably going to be watching movies less and less. They're probably going to be watching Netflix less and less. Do you ever think about the sort of the darker side of YouTube and with shadow banning and censorship and all that kind of topics, especially if you see it in other platforms like Twitter that
Yeah.
that Elon recently highlighted the shadow banning that was happening and in general the censorship that was happening on those platforms. Do you think about the role of centralized control of which information isn't or isn't made available through search and discovery?
I'll be honest. I never really think about it. So,
You just try to make fun videos that
yeah,
that
I'm kind of more in my own lane, but it's
yeah.
not like that. I don't just specifically think about that. I just like a lot of stuff in general. Like I'm just kind of in my own lane, thinking about my own stuff. But now that you asked, I'm curious. What are your thoughts on YouTube and that kind of stuff?
Well, I'm generally against centralized censorship or shadow banning. Shadow banning is the worst one because not that the goal of creating a healthy platform where you're having great conversations and videos that are not spreading misinformation, that sounds like an admirable goal, but that's too difficult of a job for a centralized entity. That's too big of an
Yeah, and
responsibility.
there's the misinformation stuff, and then there's also just like the videos where they do something that causes what happened back in the day, the where apocalypse, and a lot of creators' revenue plummets because people are doing videos that advertisers don't deem acceptable, and then now all these big advertisers are pulling, and the little guys are getting hit, and because ad rates dropped by 30%, and the person who just quit his job to go full-time content creation now can't sustain it. So it's like a lot of different variables as well that makes it so complicated.
Well, I think the big thing is transparency, especially around shadow banning for people.
I agree. On shadow banning, you should be transparent. Like you should let people know obviously there has to be some type of controls. People can't just post whatever. And so if you're pulling those levers, they should at least know.
Yeah, so they know how to improve their content. They can understand it. They can
Exactly.
If it's a wrong shadow banning, like as a society that we should not shadow ban this kind of content, that means
Exactly.
you should be publicly discussing it and having.
Because if it's not known, then it's just kind of like, well, then who's pulling the strings? And like, how do we know they're not just manipulating things to get whatever message they want out there and silence other ones?
Yeah, and there could be sort of in the background government influence, which is where actual freedom of speech comes into play, that government should not have any control or be able to put pressure on censorship of speech. And it gets weird if none of that is there's no transparency around any of that. But to be fair, that's a huge responsibility. The amount of content that YouTube is uploaded on YouTube that is shared by YouTube, viewed by YouTube.
But even more of a reason why it would probably make sense to be transparent.
Yeah.
Because then people can help fact check it.
That's right. But that requires building a platform that makes that easy, right? Like to make fact checking easy, to make the like Twitter now has, like being able to share context and all that kind of stuff. That crowdsource it. Crowdsource is the way Wikipedia crowdsource it. I mean, it's right.
And then you open a random Wikipedia article.
But like, people criticize Wikipedia because there is a political lean to the editors of Wikipedia, and then there's some articles that definitely have a bias to them and all that kind of stuff. It's a difficult problem. It's a difficult problem to solve. That ultimately, as much as possible, it would be nice for the viewer to have control of that versus the entity that's hosting it. So for the viewer to decide,
figure that stuff out.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna make fun
cool videos. Yeah.
Let's go to Antarctica again.
How was that? How was going to? You just came back from Antarctica. That was, I watched the video. That was fun. That was a really fun video.
Thank you.
There's a lot of things I can comment about that. But what was that? What was the hardest part of making that video?
The hardest part was just getting out there. It's just so remote. And, you land the plane on just this ice runway and it's so sketchy. And then once the plane takes off, you're just there. You're the most remote place on the planet. And it's very breathtaking. If you have the chance to ever go to Antarctica, I would recommend it. It was probably like in the video we climbed a mountain that wasn't named, so we can name it. And like standing on top of that mountain and just seeing kind of like nothing. And because once you get outside the outskirts and you get deep in Antarctica, there's no penguins. So nothing lives there at all. And so there's just nothing in every direction. It's just snow and these crazy, beautiful mountains, and some of them stick into the clouds. And if you go during summertime, the sun never goes down. Mm-hmm. So the sun's up 24/7 and it's just like spinning in circles at the top of the planet or whatever. It looks like the top.
You guys commented several times how beautiful it was.
And so it's just very beautiful.
What about shooting itself, like the technical aspects of shooting it?
Oh, I mean, well, so somehow we lucked out. One of the days was like the warmest day in like forever that's been in Antarctica. It was positive degrees, but at certain parts it was also like -20, -30. And that's where the cameras, you constantly have to be switching out the batteries and heating them up and like putting them basically in like your pants or they'll just get way too cold. And we were prepared for much worse, but it ended up being much better than we thought.
So for that video, but in general, maybe some other challenging videos, how do you go from the idea stage to the actual execution to the final video? Can you take me through like a full process of like we're talking about some crazy wild ideas today. How do you go from that to a final video where you click publish?
Well, I mean, obviously, first things first, you got to figure out the idea, and then it just depends. I mean, pick any video you can think of on my channel. I can take you through it.
Well, what about in a circle? You have to stay in a circle for 100 days.
Yeah. So for that one, step one,
one of the most popular.
Yeah, that video did really well.
Yeah.
So we, problem is, we have to. This is where you get really into the nuances of the company because we have a lot of videos going out. You can't just in a vacuum be like, all right, we're not doing anything for 100 days. And we're only filming this. Mm-hmm. So step one is we had to build an independent crew that could actually do that for 100 days. That way everyone else could keep working on the normal videos and not just screw everything up.
Yep.
So step one, you build that team. Okay, we got the team. Now what do we need? Well, to do this, we need probably like 10 cameras at least rolling at all times. So we're probably going to need to get a trailer and hook up a bunch of storage and stuff to just carry the sheer volume of footage we're going to have. And so get a trailer, set up the cameras, go out in the field, paint a circle. Now we need a house, go buy a house, bring it out there. And then it's like, oh, wait, I think it'd be funny if I brought the house in on the intro. Find a crane that can lift up a house so I can drive it in and drop it in the intro.
And that's like an iterative process where you're like, okay, this would be funnier. So it's not all up front that it's written.
Yeah,
it's like
ideally it would be, but as you kind of see things, you get inspired and then you think of more and more. And then
this would be better with a crane.
Yeah, it'd be better if I dropped out of the house.
Drop it. Yeah, that was crazy that you decided to do that. So fearless in the kind of crazy stuff you're willing to do.
Exactly. I'm a broken record, but whatever makes the best video possible.
Yeah.
That's all you focus on.
Okay. So what about the delegation of like what are the cameramen, like the people operating the cameras, who's responsible for different things? Is it like a distributed process? Or like
that's where whoever the lead cam would be on that video would just decide it. That one, because we shot over 100 days, a lot of it was just Sean and the guy who was in the circle just vlogging. We just gave him a camera and he figured it out. And then we'd have like for him just set hours each day that a cameraman would come. So if he had any content he needed extra hands, instead of just having someone on standby 24/7, it made more sense to do set hours.
Nice.
It it was hard, but explaining it in hindsight, it sounds so simple.
And I guess like the more, because that one is relatively simple, I guess, because it's a low number of people.
Yeah, the
involved.
hard part about that is just the time.
Right.
Like, I checked in on them so many different days, and it's like an hour here, 2 hours there, 3 hours there. Over 100 days adds up to be a ton of time. And even then, like, if you have a 10-person crew, paying them daily rates for 100 days, it just all of it adds up.
What about like the 100 versus 100 adults versus 100 kids? What was bringing that to life? That seems like exceptionally challenging.
Yeah. Basically, the thought process was we did 100 100 boys versus 100 girls.
Yeah.
People loved it. Honestly, I didn't think they'd like it as much as they did. Video did really, really well. So the second I saw that video was crushing, I was like, all right, we're doing it again. But last time we did in our studio. So we built a giant room, put 100 girls in it. It sounds bad when I explain it like this. And then a giant room, put 100 boys.
Yeah.
And we're like, after 100 hours, whichever room has the most people, we'll give them $500,000. So did well. So we're like, all right, we're going to do it again. So we threw out all these different ideas. It was like 100 football players versus 100 cheerleaders, 100 this, 100 that, 100 prisoners versus 100 cops. Just craziest ideas. And we settled on 100 kids versus 100 adults. And then the next step was like, how do we make it better? The kids versus adults, or the boys versus girls, the first one we did was inside. And the problem was every time it was night when we did these long time lapses, you couldn't see the sun go up and down. So we're like, okay, this time I want to do it outside. That's why the cubes are outside. And instead of doing circles, we want to make them cubes. And then, is figuring out, do we want just
those videos came up at least today as ones that are like really complicated in terms of the audio, in terms of how to film it.
Yeah, that's the problem. We had a lot of audio issues because in the first one we didn't have a roof on it. The second one there was a roof, so there's a lot of reverb, which then in editing made it brutal. Like half the shots weren't usable, and it really screwed us over. So we had to do a lot of Frankensteining in the editing to make up for basically my ignorance.
So you mentioned that you were surprised how well that one did. A lot of creators talk about getting depressed when the videos don't do as well as they kind of expected. There's a kind of feeling you can get really worn out by that. Do you yourself feel that? And also, do you have advice for others that feel this?
Yeah, it's weird because I am a numbers guy, but also it used to. It used to very much, especially when I was like betting everything I had on a video. When it did bad, I was devastated, man. I'd cry and I'd be depressed for days, and it really would have a severe impact on my mood. But I don't know. Now it doesn't really matter. It's if a video does bad, I just look at it and I'm like, oh, why did this video do bad? Probably, there's a little retention dip there. I don't think people like the thumbnail. Maybe we should switch it. And I just look at it objectively, unemotional, and then just move on. And I feel like that's a much healthier way of going about it. So if a creator is listening, like that is the ideal way to respond to a video that's doing bad. Just remove emotion from the equation and just look at it and figure out how you can improve the next one.
Is there tricks to being able to detach yourself from that? Because because like in your case, I mean that's true for creators, but in your case, there's like a lot of money on the line.
Yeah, well,
there's videos
months
cost
of my
a lot
life and so much time, but no, I mean I don't know. The only real answer is it's just a conscious effort. You just have to unemotionally look at the video, determine the problems, and then move on. Like there is no secret. You know what I mean? It's just it's that. And if you really can't bring yourself to do it, then you're just screwed. Honestly, maybe you're not meant for this game.
Okay, so that's part of the development as a creator is like being able to be
for longevity. Yes, yeah. You have to unemotionally be able to look at videos that flop and figure it out. Because if not, you can't. And not every video can be a 1 out of 10. And so when a video does bad, that just stress and depression is just going to eventually get to you in the long run.
So you said you've failed in a bunch of videos, sort of taking them to completion. So what are some of the biggest fails?
Yeah, weirdly enough, as we've matured and we've done this more, we don't have that problem as much, especially now that we're getting into the multi-million-dollar budgets per video. It's like failure is not really an option anymore. So I'm a little more particular about what I do. But back in the day, yeah, like we would do a video where we spent 24 hours on a deserted island and we filmed it, did it all. And I didn't like it after the edit. So I just grabbed the boys and we went back to the deserted island and spent another 24 hours there and refilmed it.
Could that have been caught and prevented at the idea stage?
No, it's a good idea. It was just poor execution. To be honest, when we were out there, it was hot. We were just like, we all at one point just kind of wanted to die. It was just miserable.
So how do you avoid that these days?
Well, I just
Just
went when it was a little cooler, to be honest. And then we had literally the amount of fun we had in the video was like 10 times higher.
Oh, interesting. So you like there's some practical details that you just learned.
Yeah, I
what,
don't
what it takes to do.
videos that where it's very hot or it's on water because I get super seasick. There's like a kind of like 10 things that if they have these variables, I'm down to do it, but my fun meter is not as high as normal. Like we tried to anytime we do anything on a boat, like when we spent 24 hours in Bermuda Triangle, or when I tried to spend like, which it didn't get uploaded, but I tried to spend like 100 hours at sea or whatever, just like on a raft. It just like it makes me want to throw up, and I get so seasick I can't even see straight. But there are just some videos that require me to be on a boat, so I just suck it up.
So when you spend months in creating a video, I know this is probably stressful to some creators. Like how much stress? How do you feel when you have to click publish on a video?
Now, not much.
So you're able to detach yourself.
Yeah. Again, and old me, tons. I mean, bro, I'd be like scratching and nervous, and like my hands would be sweating, like to the point where I'm almost about to puke. I'm like, I really hope people like this, but you know, I don't know. I think that's just part of maturing it. There's different, and as a content creator, there's different phases, and you just like once you get over the fear that you're just going to wake up one day and be irrelevant, you know, and you just, you know, accept that like you believe in yourself and you believe in your content and that you can continue to be relevant, then you don't, I don't know, you kind of are, it's a little bit easier to detach yourself, I guess. And that's, it's a much healthier place to be. You can't do this for 10 years if every little thing just causes these huge emotional reactions. It's like, that's why a lot of creators go a little, you know, mentally insane. You know, you have to get out of that game, because it really messes with you. We've
talked about this a little bit, but how do you define and how do you suggest others define success on YouTube?
It's so subjective. Some people, success is retiring their mom. Literally, you know, for you, success is inspiring people and educating them, and you know, whatever, piquing their curiosity. For other people, it's just quitting their job.
So you have to self-reflect on what your definition of success is, because I think a lot of creators kind of don't really think. Don't introspect.
Mm-hmm.
Like they kind of want to keep getting more and more subscribers, kind of thing.
Yeah, but subscribers is just a vanity metric. You know, it doesn't. Subscribers don't correlate to views.
Sure, or views. What?
Yeah, I know, but that's more. That wasn't directed to you. That was more directed to people listening, because a lot of people do really care about subscribers or even followers, like on TikTok. But if you look, like your view, if on YouTube, very, very few percent, if even a percent of your views come from the sub feed, right? You know, they're almost all home feed or suggested. When's the last time you clicked on your sub feed to watch a video?
Oh, almost never. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 5 years ago. It used to be a thing. It's not anymore. No one does. And it's getting harder and harder to find something.
I subscribe to way too many channels, I think.
Yeah, that's what everyone does. And you subscribe to 10 channels, they're great, but 2 years later, your taste evolves, and it's like, it's a mess. And so subscribers don't really matter. Followers on TikTok don't really matter. Anyways, they really are the definition of a vanity metric.
But what about views?
They do, obviously, because if people are showing up time and time again, that's what matters.
Okay, so that's a good thing to define as success. I just feel like that too can be a problem, because I would say, you know, if I wanted to be successful, like as a young creator, I might start copying MrBeast or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like you start trying to take shortcuts as opposed to find your own unique voice, right? Mm-hmm. So like chasing views is a problem too. It feels like, or no, like, as long as you detach yourself from that.
I mean, if you're sounds bad, but if you're lazy, yeah, and you just want to copy someone else and not experiment and find your own way. But yeah, I mean, you can't make that excuse for them. If someone just isn't coming up with original stuff and putting in the effort, you can't just say, oh, it's because they're chasing views. We need some different metric for them to chase. No, they just need to find their own way.
I mean, it just feels like unique type of content will often lead to sacrifice in the number of views in the short term.
Mm-hmm. But in the long term, you win.
Okay.
Or if you do win, you win more, I guess would be a better way of putting it.
Do you think you will IPO MrBeast Burger or Feastables in the next 5-10 years?
Beast Burger or Feastables? No, I kind of think they're
something.
So actually, you know what? I just realized this is our first time talking about those. We're like an hour and a half in. That's so funny.
We started talking about what
my retention brain kicked in.
I wonder if you have retention brain for like life itself.
Oh, I do. Every time I'm talking to someone, I'm like, okay, I
What about
wonder.
like loved ones? Like spending time with loved ones, thinking like we could be doing something much better right now, right?
Yes, no, that is a serious problem. With so we'll pause the Beast Burger question. Yes, but that's why my current girlfriend, which I was telling you before when we were talking about this, is she has a genuine love for learning, and that's something I have. Like I always feel like I need to be learning something to justify the time I'm spending, and so that's why it's such a nice trait because I feel like the time is being used optimally. Because whether we're watching a documentary or we're going and taking an IQ test or reading about whatever, just why modern art is a thing. I don't know, whatever weird thing we decide to do. I'm always learning and improving, so it justifies the time.
So to maximize retention in your relationship,
Yeah.
you want to spend that time learning as much as possible.
Yeah, which conveniently I don't have to force, right?
Yes.
Or I want to be recharging, so when I do work, I can hit the ground harder. And luckily, we're into a lot of the same things, which happen to be learning, and sometimes it's not learning, like maybe watching an anime or something like that. But I'm a big believer in you're either if you well if your goal is to be like a super successful entrepreneur, you need to either be working or you need to be doing something that decompresses and recharges you so you can work again. If your goal is to be like a really kick-ass entrepreneur, and obviously we're boiling this down to like a very basic thing. And so the things you're doing in your downtime when you're not working, if it doesn't recharge you, you're screwed. You're just a ticking time bomb waiting to implode. And so you got to like heavily recharge and like watching for me anime or whatever it is, playing a board game, like that is actually kind of crucial to my success, which takes a lot of maturing to come to that conclusion because I used to be the kind of guy that wanted to work every hour of the day, and I would try to train myself to not need that stuff. And I almost resented like that. I have to do these kinds of things, and it would piss me off because it's not optimal. And I just really want to make content and entertain people. But yeah, as someone who's gone down that road, and you just work every day for 2-3 months straight, and every hour of the day, and then you just a bomb waiting to explode and lose your mind. And the only real sustainable thing is to just like give yourself time to recharge in between working.
So there's a kind of balance you have to find.
You have to and I hate it more than anyone else because
You hate not working.
yeah,
basically.
because it's just not optimal for time. Like it's as a human, I do need to occasionally watch a mindless show and play a board game.
Yeah.
And it took me a very long time to like come to peace with that and not. I would have like borderline panic attacks when I do it because I'd be like, what am I doing right now? Why am I doing this? I should be, like, what if one day I have to lay off an employee because we're not doing so well? Like, how could I justify watching this show or whatever I'm doing right now? It's like there's a lot of things like that that go on in your head, but it's necessary.
Before we return to MrBeast Burger, well, what is since we're on the topic, what does a perfectly productive day in the life of MrBeast look like?
Oh boy. Well, I mean,
or like a standard.
I mean, the perfectly productive day is we film a main channel video, like because those get 100 million a pop. I mean, it doesn't really get any better than that.
What about like the average day when you're not on the set?
Yeah,
and you're like because you're running a lot of things, right?
Yeah. So right now we have our snack brand Feastables. We have a restaurant chain Beast Burger, and then we basically, which we haven't even really launched any products yet, but we have the data company that I was showing you, where we're going to roll out some tools for creators, and then we have the Reacts channel, the gaming channel, the main channel, and then we have my charity, which also has a channel. And so kind of how I've structured my life right now is whenever I have free time, we just kind of go, hey guys, Jimmy's got an hour from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. And everyone's just like, I need this. And this channel's like, I need this thing filmed, or, whatever. The guy who runs my TikTok's like, I need this TikTok filmed, or, Beast Burger's like, I need this menu item approved. Do we need to talk about this marketing thing? And then we kind of just look at what everyone needs, and we're like, that one looks like the most important. We'll do that. And then, so it's just kind of like, if I just did that for every company in a day, then that's optimal. If I just kind of like an optimal day for me would be going down the 8 companies and just whatever their like 2 to 3 biggest pain points or things they need from me, and just doing those
based on priority, and then trying to keep it as short as possible.
Yeah,
to just the things that you're needed on.
It doesn't get more optimal than that. If I clear the bottlenecks or some bottlenecks for all my companies, then that's a perfect day.
Yeah, I mean, even just me, because you're like, you're showing me around and you're being a great and gracious host. But on top of that, you're just doing all these meetings. You basically
I felt bad at some points. I was like, oh, I just tricked him into going to meetings with me. He's like my little meeting buddy.
yeah. I mean, it was fun. It's fun to see it was fun to see how effectively you've delegated. You basically trust the team to do a really good job on the various things, and there's just a strong team that's able to carry the flag on all the different tasks.
Yeah.
From the brainstorming in the main channel to the reacts and so on. Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, it's really interesting what it takes to build a team like that, because you very quickly build a very large team that's able to scale.
Which is very scary because it's my first, you know, I'm 24, you know, and I think I was telling you this earlier. It's funny because 6 years ago I had to raise my hand to go use the bathroom, and now I'm in charge of hundreds of people and entertain hundreds of millions of people. And so it is crazy just how quick it comes up. And I wish I was a little bit older so I could have ran a couple companies and failed a few companies in the past and like learn from those and apply those here. Because I know for a fact when I'm 34, I'm 24 now. When I'm 34, I'll know so much more about running a business and scaling and hiring and how to lead people and better effectively communicate and all these different skill sets that will make me a better leader. That's the only thing that sucks is I just don't have those because I just haven't been through the lessons, and I just have such a lucrative thing on my plate right now, and it just sucks that I have to learn the lessons with the lucrative thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you already have so much influence, so much impact, but you have effectively scaled. What lessons do you draw from that? How to effectively scale as a 24-year-old? Like
that's something I feel like I actually could give a lot of value to young people who are doing it, like older people who've built 5 companies or whatever they do. I probably couldn't. They're going to be like, "Oh, this is so obvious," but for younger first-time business owners, you gotta just experiment, to be honest. And but for us, like it's just a new space. No one had really ever scaled up 100-person team to make content on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't I spent all this time like I hired one person from Disney at one point to come in and help. And obviously that was a dumb idea looking back on it. But, I thought, oh, they make great stuff people want to watch. And they come over here and help me build a team. And, and they build it more the traditional way and not like how it should be online. And so then it's like, okay. And now I'm not trying to trash people. Like they all tried their best. But then I hire this one person who does this different type of media and runs a 100-person team. And then you come in here and they try to build it that way, and they don't really listen to you or value or see the difference. And I tried basically for building this company with like 4 or 5 different people who worked in different veins of media. And, every single time it's just like, they just don't get it. And they don't understand my world. And the eventual solution was just like to roll up my sleeves and do it myself, with like James, my right-hand man, and just like, no one's ever done this, and like no one's gonna just give us a golden carrot and tell us how to build this company. We got to figure it the fuck out ourselves.
And you have to kind of build up people from scratch then.
Yeah, exactly. All the stuff I was talking about earlier and all the lessons I learned along the way. And so for me, that was a big part of like stop trying to have someone build this company for me and just do it myself, because it's scary. Like I spent my whole life studying YouTube videos of virality, not business building. But fuck it, I was like, I guess we just got to do it ourselves. And that's where things really started to click, and we got the exponential growth, and we started getting the right people and training them the right way, and just throwing conventional stuff out the door and focusing on what's actually practical for YouTube, which is just completely different than traditional media.
So you train people, and then those people train people, and so on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just even like how you do the lighting on sets, or like how you do the audio, or not writing scripts. So we're just not as efficient with our filming. Like sometimes I have to have 30 cameras running. Why? Because it's not scripted. I don't know what Chris is gonna do when we start filming. He might run over there, but guess what? We got to have it planned because there's only one shot. I can't tell him not to do that.
Yeah, that's the shooting, but then there's also the editing.
Yeah, and then the editing as well, and not having guardrails and kind of at the end of the day, it's whatever I want. The video, their job is to make a video that they think I'll like because it's my channel. But you can achieve that kind of however. And so it's just everything's just different. It's much more, I guess, like a startup as opposed to.
Are you often surprised, like with the result? Like you think a certain, like we watched the video today. That was really nice. Yeah. That was different than you would have potentially edited it.
Yeah.
Are you sometimes surprised by like a decision an editor makes? It's like, okay, that's not the way I would have done it, but it's actually, this is a cool idea.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. The thing, my biggest fear is I don't ever want to get trapped in like a bubble of, because we are getting 100 million views of video on the main channel. Like, but I don't want to get in this feedback loop of just my ideas are great, or not feedback loop, but stop learning and improving, because it is easy sometimes to be like, what we're doing is working. We need to just keep doing it. I want to keep learning and trying new things. And I guess one way I'd put it is like, you don't when you're on a come up or you're growing, you don't want to test new things once you start to plateau or have a downtrend, because if you're like, you're skyrocketing, right? You're up, and then you level off and you start to go down, and you're like, oh, this isn't working anymore. Let's start experimenting. Well, if you have a bad experiment, now you're in like a tailspin. You're nosediving, and you have one more bad experiment. You're like screwed. Kind of. I'm oversimplifying. You want to test things while you're still growing to keep the growing from happening, because once you like have, again, very oversimplifying that, like, kind of level off, you do a couple tests, they go wrong. You're like screwed. You know what I mean? You're already out the door, and now you're just confirming that you were out the door and online entertainment. So that's kind of how I see it. So I think it's very imperative that you're constantly always experimenting and trying things, even if you're getting crazy, unheard of growth.
And so that outside of the thing that brought you to the dance, you just dived right into MrBeast Burger and Feastables. So this is a whole nother industry. Like, what was that like?
Well, so Beast Burger, we kind of it was supposed to be like just a pop up. Like, we just partnered with someone who had 300 restaurants, and we are just like, let's just sell Beast Burgers for a day or two. Let's see what happens. We didn't really think it would be as big as it was, but that first day, we do 6 figures in sales, and they all sell out, and they're running to local Walmarts. They can't keep up with the demand, and it's like, okay, well, maybe let's just leave it open a week, whatever. And we're just doing crazy revenue, and it's like, okay, well, let's add some more restaurants, and let's just leave them open for a month. Mm-hmm. And we're just still doing 6 figures a day, and it kind of just went from this thing that was, I don't know. I didn't really plan on running a restaurant chain, but here I am.
But didn't that, in some sense, also open your mind to something like Feastables?
Feastables is something I've always wanted to do, because I think just in general, American snacks are just full of so much horrible ingredients, to be honest. And they're not, I don't know. I feel like there also just hasn't been any innovation in American snacks in quite a while. And so that's just something I've always been pretty passionate about. We built that from scratch. So we hired the CEO and built a team around him. And we spent probably over 2.5 years before we even launched, just like building the right team, figuring things out, and making sure it was actually ran the way I wanted. Which Feastables has just been crushing. It's very interesting. This is something I've never talked about publicly, but having products in retail, it's like, before Feastables, everything I had done was online. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to, anything from the quote unquote Beast brand, you'd have to buy it online and ship it to you. But Feastables, now that, because our first product, chocolate bars, we started putting that in retail locations. So like, for example, Walmart, it's crazy. Like, it doesn't make sense how, which I guess it does, because we get 100 million views of video. So a lot of people know us. If I go stand in Walmart, those people recognize me and ask for photos. Like, if I stood there long enough, I could take 150 photos today in Walmart, or 200, whatever it is. So obviously it makes sense those people go find Feastables, but then you just multiply that by every Walmart in America, and it just gets so crazy. And I didn't think we'd be doing the kind of revenue we are. And we're about to launch in some other, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, so whatever, but other big retail, locations and convenience stores. And like, by the end of next year, we could be in like 40, 50,000 locations, and the numbers just don't make sense. You know what I mean?
What are some interesting challenges about scaling there that surprised you?
The biggest problem, which I didn't think would be, was just keeping the shelves in Walmart stocked, to be honest. Like,
so that supply chain.
It was brutal. Well, even then, sometimes, like, you get them the stuff, and they're like, it takes them like a day or two to put it out in that specific location. And I had to stop promoting it, because every time I'd mention it, like 40% of people would just be like, it's not there. It's not in Walmart, or I can't buy it. And so there's like a 3-ish month period where I just didn't promote Feastables, because I was scared that someone would go buy it and it's just not there. And so like, it took us a very long time to catch up to the demand. And also, it's not like we have unlimited money. So but now we're relatively caught up and keeping up. But it's going to be interesting, because now this year in 2023, we're going to basically, 10x the amount of locations we're in. So we're going to try to launch new products. So we're in for an interesting ride. But yeah, I hate when I tell people, like, hey, go try this product, and then they go in their local Walmart and eventually other places, and it's not there. It's just so brutal, They made that whole journey out there and they couldn't get it, and so that was really it. Besides that, no, it's been doing way better than I ever thought, to be honest.
You've talked to a couple places about maybe doing mobile games or computer games in the future.
Yeah.
Is that something you're still considering?
Yes. Because do you normally talk with people as much as we talked beforehand? Is that
no? That was the problem. We spent all day today talking about.
In my head, everything you asked me is stuff we already talked about.
Not really.
Well, no, not everything. I take it back. But sorry, the last two questions, yes. And so it's just funny because
what? No, I tried. So okay, there's a different style of asking those questions. Because I on purpose didn't dig further with you.
I could tell, yeah.
I could tell you. Okay, this is, by the way. Okay, all right. Well, this is the first time I've ever talked to somebody as much as I did with you beforehand.
Yeah.
Whoops. On the same day.
I know. Not even the same day
together.
We're talking
and I only
3
slept
hours
1
ago.
hour. Yeah.
So, literally, it's funny.
This is a hilarious and awesome social experiment.
I picked him up from his hotel and I just harassed him all day to hang out with me. And then
great.
Here we
awesome.
are now.
I love it. I was secretly recording the whole time, just so you know. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so what was the question? The mobile games.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is with Beast Burger and Feastables that there's physical goods as opposed to making mobile games or PC game, whichever one we end up doing, which is software. And I actually have a giant international audience. Most of my audience is obviously outside of America. And so the problem we're running into is it just takes time to build up the supply chain and get Feastables in Southeast Asia, get Feastables in India, get Feastables in Brazil and Mexico and all these other places where we have giant pockets of our audience. And same thing with Beast Burger. It's going to take probably years, unless we partner with someone who already has the distribution, which we're figuring out. But the beauty of software is I can make a hypothetical game or whatever we end up doing, and all my fans can, use it tomorrow, the day I mention it. And so if I promote something in a video to 100 million people and it's basically like a game, they can all download it. So they're, but if I promote a Feastables bar, right now it's only in America because we're struggling just to keep up with American demand. We haven't even gotten the chance to go outside America. So I alienate a majority of my audience, and it feels so shitty to just mention something that most of them can't buy. But on the flip side, you can't just spawn this crazy infrastructure and just have tens of millions of bars and all your products in every single store across the world before you promote it. So you can't put the egg before the chicken. And so it's like that's what I'm excited about. I want to get into less physical stuff and more stuff that everyone in my audience can actually use. This is the thought process.
Especially if there's a social element to the gaming too. Because it's not unlike Feastables, that's a product you consume.
You missed it. When you're setting up for this, we were doing basically just laying out everything that we're planning for. So we're at the phases where we want to start hiring the team to build it. And we're kind of just laying out the game. And I was actually really curious to get your thoughts, but I can't say it because whatever I say, someone's just going to take it and run with it. But I have a pretty good idea.
About the kind of games you're thinking about? Yeah. I mean, I can imagine. We also talked a little bit about it. It's super awesome.
So much good ones.
I did.
So much good talks.
Right
when the juicy talks happen, she's like, I got to go set up.
Well, I already heard a lot of awesome stuff. I mean, but that is a different kind of team you would need to hire.
Yeah.
Is that a little nerve-wracking, going into a new field and trying to...
A little bit, but then I remind myself like Steve Jobs didn't know how to code, right? And, he just knew what a good product was. And I feel like as someone who wasted so much of his life playing video games, I have a good sense of it. And that might be ignorance.
Well, that's really important, right? It's not about coding. It's about what makes for a good game.
Exactly. And again, that might genuinely be ignorance. And maybe I end up, getting bit in the butt because of what I'm saying now. But I think just like with YouTube, I just want to obsess over making a great product and things that I think my audience will love. And I think as long as I keep that as my North Star, it'll do well.
What does the path to being worth 100 billion look like?
What does the path to being worth 100 billion look like? I don't know.
Okay, let me just pause. You're 24 and there's so much awesome scaling, so many great ideas. Do you think about different trajectories?
Yeah.
What those possible trajectories might look like?
Yeah, I mean, if the goal was to just be worth $100 billion, yes. I mean, my goal. I'm a broken record. Is to make the best video possible because I know whatever else I want will come. Obviously, blah
So
blah. You've heard
the
that.
video is the foundation
Yeah,
for it.
exactly. So to path to $100 billion is keep getting 100 million views a video. You know what I mean? But
Or more.
well, yeah, or more exactly. If we can keep growing, but if we can keep Feastables growing, right? And we eventually expand international. And one day we're in 100,000 retail locations and we're selling the same amount of SKUs or units per SKUs like we're currently doing. I mean, that would crush. And then obviously, ideally, one day we open up hundreds of Beast burgers. We get it where we churn out, like Supercell, a couple hit games. I don't want to make dozens or hundreds of games. I just want to make games that are just great. And, we rarely drop them. But when we do, they're bangers. And just, whatever other stuff we end up doing, all that combined. I mean, it's just interesting because like what's a show that's pulled 100 million views per episode, basically?
Yeah,
like we're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Super Bowl gets praised because they get 100 million viewers, but I can't think of a show. Maybe in reruns or something.
but it's also a show has a singular kind of figure
yeah.
that you can now use as a
like I don't have a network telling me what to do. I don't have anyone. Like I can do whatever I want. So it's a very interesting position because I put out content and 100 million people show up. And then I also have a gaming channel. I put out content and 15 million people show up. And I have a reaction channel. I put out content and 10 million people show up. And I have a TikTok and I put out content and on average 20 million people show up. So as long as I can keep that going and then we build these businesses, it's honestly pretty scary to see what will happen, over the years because Feastables launched, last year, 2022. So it's a relatively new thing. And Beast Burger, we just started scaling up the physical side. And we haven't obviously even launched any mobile games yet. So I think I'm at the antithesis of it. I don't see a world where my YouTube channel is irrelevant in the next couple of years. This is what I live for. And so if I can keep that going and then really start to expand these businesses that leverage off of it, then yeah, I mean, hopefully there's a day where I can give away $1 billion in a video, honestly.
That would be one hell of a video. Let me ask you the ridiculous question. Since you went from being broke to being rich, although you keep spending all your money, but does money buy happiness? How has money changed sort of your contentment, your happiness in life?
Does money buy happiness? No, not. I mean, to a point, yes. Once you can take care of your health, you can take care of like any immediate dangers and you can take care of your family relatively. No, it doesn't. Like, but those things do. Like when I first came into money, one of the first things I did was retire my mom. And like that brought me tons of happiness. You know what I mean? And like, if my brother had a medical emergency and we couldn't afford it and I made money to afford it, that'd bring tons of happiness.
Yeah.
So once you take care of those basic necessities, so we'll say make over hypothetically $1 million. No, it really doesn't. Like adding an extra zero, going from 10 million to 100 million or whatever it is, makes no difference.
So you're, given that, are just fearless in spending the money.
Yeah. Well, let me reframe. I guess it could for some people if you really, I don't know, you spent your whole life obsessing over cars, it probably would bring you a little bit of joy to buy a nice Lamborghini. I'm coming more from the frame of mind of an entrepreneur, someone who's really obsessed with business building. For me and a lot of my friends and the people I hang around, what brings us happiness is winning and building companies and changing the world. Like that is fun. It's a complex problem you can wake up every day and it gives you something to obsess over and devote your life to, whereas just having money doesn't,
Well, one interesting question I have for you psychologically. So because you have become wealthy and because you give, like part of your work is giving away a lot of money, do you find it hard to find people you can trust?
Question.
Do people see you basically as a source of money as opposed to another human being?
It's weird because you would think yes, but I feel like I also know the right places to look. But yeah, if I just walked into Target and tried to make friends with 10 random people, of course. You gotta.
So you can kind of sense.
Oh yeah, you can
has
sense
the right thing in
so
their heart.
quickly, right? It's so obvious. I don't even want to go into descriptions, but honestly, a lot of my friends are like Chandler. I played Little League with him. And Tyler, the guy, I mean, I went to school with him. Chris, he was my first subscriber. Carl was here after we got big, but whatever. He's just friends with the boys. And it is a lot of my closer friends, even like my YouTube friends, I knew before I was big. So maybe there is some merit to that. Maybe it is. I don't know. I've never really put too much thought into it. But maybe there's a reason I hang around a lot of these people I knew before I got big, because it's much easier.
And they help you keep like your radar sharp of who can and can't be trusted, because you know you can trust them.
Yeah.
And it's difficult when you become richer and richer and more powerful.
Well, one thing you'll also find when you get rich, not even richer, but more famous. One thing I thought is, as I climbed this like ladder of YouTube and got bigger, I thought there would be tons of people like me. People like that take like the kamikaze approach to building a business.
Yeah.
You just throw all your money in it, you throw all your time, you throw all your energy, you throw everything.
Yeah.
You're just like, fuck it. It's this or I'm dead.
Yeah.
And I thought there would be hundreds of me.
Yeah.
And
there isn't.
There isn't. I mean, there's like maybe one or two. And I talk to those motherfuckers every single day. I'm sick and tired of talking to them, but I love them. But it's just so interesting because like every level I got up, like I'd get 1 million subscribers. I'd be like, all right, where's all these guys with 1 million subscribers that are fucking psychopaths? And then they're like,
people become like conservative as they get more,
especially as they get bigger. Yeah. And 20 million subscribers, 30. It's like every step of the way, it's like I just got more and more lonely, to be honest. So it sounds cliche and you hear that kind of shit in movies and you're like, oh, that's not how it works. But it is. Like there's just not many people that just want to give up everything, go all in, and obsess over making the greatest goddamn videos every single day of their life. Like they're really hard to find.
And be able to sacrifice everything for that video.
Yeah.
Like basically put all the money right back in.
Yeah. Or the people doing it, they're on just a small scale. And if I talk to them, it's just 99.9% of the time I'm teaching them things. And it's like.
So it's lonely because there's not too many people, especially in the creative space, that are as crazy as you.
Yeah, it is 100%. It's not what I was expecting. I was expecting there'd be a lot of people like me, but.
Well, I guess the guy we talked to, Elon Musk, is a bit like you in that sense.
Yeah, just
in a different domain.
Yeah, exactly.
Just willingness to put it all back in. Right,
and that's why I found right now a lot of the people I relate to don't even make YouTube videos. Like they're just like I'm veering more and more away from fellow content creators and more to just. I'm just looking for those other people who just share a little bit of it so I don't feel so fucking crazy all the time. Like, you know what I mean? And like people I feel normal around, and they tend to just be doing the randomest things, but loving it.
Well, I think that's really inspiring. It's like the Bukowski line, find what you love and let it kill you, is really put everything into the thing you love. And that's like the way to really create special stuff, but it's also the way to live out your life.
You have to be careful giving this advice because they're like bodybuilders who will be like, just go to the gym, be disciplined. I'm disciplined, go to the gym. But I would argue for those people, it's like, it's not even discipline. They just enjoy weightlifting, right? Because there are people who are jacked, but they don't make much money or run a business, right? If they were that disciplined, they would be hitting every area of their life. They just really like business. And then there's people like me who just to an extreme level love building companies, right? It's not even discipline for me. It's just in my blood. It's what I wake up. I don't think about it. I don't push myself. I don't need to watch a fucking motivational video to go work. I just do it. It's programmed in me at this point. And I couldn't imagine a world where I don't wake up and do it every day. But I think that a little bit of it is genetics and just how you're hardwired. Not that it can't be trained or taught, and not that, and obviously the friend group you're in influences these things, and over time, I think can change it. But someone's just not going to be able to flip a switch and then just start doing a kamikaze approach to building a business. Just like a lot of people try to flip a switch and start bodybuilding and then quit majority of the time. It's just not innate to them.
But I think a lot of us have the capacity to do that in some domain.
Yeah, I think if you went about it strategically, if you surrounded yourself with fellow like-minded people and, slowly over time switched it, but if you just try to like hardcore do it, you're just going to lose your mind.
Do you ever worry about your mental health? Did you take step to protect it, to like for the long run, to make sure you have the mental strength to go on?
Yes. Weirdly enough, the best thing for my mental health was giving into my innate nature to work. And the most depressed I get is when I try to restrict it and like, I don't work weekends or I don't work this day. What's best for me is just to work when I feel like working and then just not work when I don't, and just have no constraints. Because there are just some nights where I don't want to sleep. And for whatever reason, I feel compelled to go all night. Whatever. Like, just do it. Do whatever you want. Is what I tell my working brain. And I just give into it. And that's where I feel the happiest. And then, it's typically like, and when I'm really in the grind mode, it'll be like 7 or 8 days, just nonstop going. And then it's like, I'll realize like, oh, I need some recharge time, and then go fucking binge a season of anime. Yeah,
And listen to your,
but that's the thing.
your
Like
body.
people will tell you, don't work weekends, or don't
Yeah.
do this, or don't work past this, or blah blah. Give you all these constraints. But for me, and it's unconventional, I just give into it.
I think there's something really to be said for that. I try to surround myself with people that, like, when I pull an all nighter, they don't go like, you should get more sleep. There's a reason I pulled that all nighter. Like, if I'm really passionate about something, they basically encourage it, because I have no problem getting sleep and getting rest. What I need in my life is people that encourage you to kind of keep going with the stuff you're passionate about.
Normal people, they don't want that life, and they probably shouldn't. It's not good for you. But yeah, if you hang around people like just whatever different people, you're gonna feel crazy and it's gonna wear on you. Whereas if you're around similar people, it's so much easier. Like if I've started weightlifting more, and like one thing that's helped is just having jacked people around me, 'cause they naturally just eat healthier. They do. Like they naturally just have freaking grilled chicken and all this shit and high protein meals, and it's just like easier for me to just piggyback and be like, oh, can you just order me whatever you're getting? And they're like, oh, I got to go to the gym, and I'll be like, oh shit, I'll just join you. And it's like it's cheat codes. You know what I mean? Just surround yourself with people that you want to be, and it makes it like 70% easier, in my opinion. It's like that is the cheat code to life. And I wish. I obviously your audience is definitely a lot older, but to the older people listening, like if you are in a place of mentorship for someone younger or have influence over younger people, you should really try to drill that in their heads. Like the people they are around 100% dictates the outcome. I would not be on 120 million subscribers if I didn't find when I was around a million, I had a couple of friends that were just also psychopaths. I outgrew them, but at the time it was great, and I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for them. And just all along the way, the friends that I hung out with had such a dramatic impact on where I am. Like I'd probably have 80 million less subscribers, if I wasn't so strategic about hanging out with people that I add value to and they also add value to me.
So the advice for young people would be to be very selective about the people you surround yourself with.
So selective. It's crazy. Like Chris, he's he's really funny, and that's why he's great for the videos. And part of why he's so funny is he consumes copious amounts of cartoons and just funny content. And so I'll find, like, when I spend more time with Chris, I'll start just quoting these weird cartoons or shows, and my speech will literally change just after like a week of spending more time with him. It's like that quick of an effect. Now picture that over the course of years. I mean, yeah, it has such a huge influence. Like, pluck one of their friends out and hypothetically put me in there, and there's no doubt if they're trying to become a content creator, their odds of success is 10x, right? Obviously, you can't do that, but you got to find your closest version of it.
And just be selective, yeah. But this also applies not just to younger, to older people too.
Agree, but it's even more. When I was a teenager, I just I couldn't relate to many people, and I just thought it was like a fucking freak of nature because no one was obsessed with building businesses or any of this kind of stuff. And so, like, back then, that advice would have been helpful. Maybe not that particularly, but just knowing that there are, it's not that you're a freak of nature. You just haven't found people that have the same interests.
So the task is not to feel sorry for yourself or somehow change yourself. It's more to find
people you fit in with. Yeah. I mean, assuming which, you're not getting compliment, assume it's not something bad, right? Like if your hobby is shooting things, or shooting things you shouldn't be shooting, don't find people that encourage that.
But outside of that, for sure. Actually, as an answer to what is the best advice someone ever gave you, you said, you're crazy until you're successful, then you're a genius.
100%. All along the way, people gave me so much, advice on why I shouldn't be doing it, why I'm crazy. Yeah. Every step of the way, people wanted to tell me why I shouldn't be doing this and should get a life, should stop being too obsessed, everything under the book. And then once I'm successful, those same people are like, dang, you're a genius. Yeah. Wow, you really pulled that off.
Those are probably the same people that will give you advice now. You're the most successful video creator of all time. Stick to that. Anytime you want to do something new, right?
Yeah.
They'll like pressure you not to do Feastables or mobile gaming or whatever lays beyond.
Yeah.
It's funny how people don't.
Well, honestly, they're the type of people I just don't talk to anymore.
Yeah,
so.
sure.
I wouldn't even know what they have to say now.
So most people on the team are like, yes, and they're like, whatever the idea you got, they're with it.
No, I mean, it's weird. We actually have a My team pushes back on me pretty hardcore.
Oh, they do.
Which I want. I don't want yes men, and
Yeah.
they're like they're James, you know, the CEO who helped me build all this. He's very adamant, like we're not yes men, and he trains people to really think for themselves. And even when I give them orders, to like really think, like, is this optimal? Is there context or information Jimmy could be missing that I could provide that could help him make a more updated decision? Like I'm not God, you know what I mean? Like I'm human and I make errors, and so don't take what I say as the Bible.
So even like in the brainstorming and so on, they can push back.
Yeah,
like
you can
this.
see it. Like Tyler,
Yeah.
anytime I said something, he would give me feedback and pushback, which is what I want. I don't want him just to be like, yes, you're a fucking genius. Good job, Jimmy. You know, I don't need that. You know, I need negatives.
You talked about being in a relationship. What role, Jimmy, does love play in the human condition?
I think, well, role does love. The big thing is love can be scary because this is, you know, the human you're going to spend the most amount of time with in your life, you know, and so for a project that over 50 years, they can be a liability or an asset.
I love the metrics.
You know, but seriously, it's got to
sure.
be someone that makes you better. For me, I can't truly love someone that doesn't make me better because
in the long run, across the
because
years.
if not, then it's like it's a negative, you know, to everything I've spent my life building. But luckily, I'm very happy with the partner I have, and like we were talking about before, I do think she makes me better. There's a lot of actually positives I've noticed, even things as simple as like, you know, I struggle to turn off my brain at night because I'm just thinking about all the businesses and how we could do better or whatever weird thing I have on my mind. But, you know, just chatting with her and hanging out with her helps me like basically just shut my brain off and like mellow out. And even like there's just a ton of little things like that I've noticed are positives, especially when you really look for them, that are easy to gloss over if you're not. And so for me, I have someone who I think is very beautiful, very intelligent, makes me better, is constantly pushing me, okay with me working hard, makes me smarter, and just all these different things that I think for me, love just makes me a better person. You know what I mean? Which makes me love her even more. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. What advice would you give on finding somebody like that?
Just really don't give up until you find someone that, you know, there's so many people on the planet. I mean, there really is. There's billions of
The odds are in your favor.
Like just don't settle and find someone that, you know, makes you happy.
Yeah, just like you said, surround yourself with people that make you a better person. In the same case, surround yourself with that one special person that really makes you a better person.
And maybe that's just an entrepreneurial brain looking at it. I mean, not everyone wants to hyper optimize their life like me, but for me to like truly love someone, they have to make me a better person.
In every way, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you hope? You're 24. We started talking about death. Let's finish talking about death. What do you hope your legacy is when we look 100 years from now and the AI has completely taken over and the aliens visit and discuss with the AI what this last of special humans that existed on Earth was like? What do you hope they say about you?
It's a deep one. Probably just that because it's hard, right? Like I said before, Elon is over double my age. I could live every second I've lived up to this point in my life and still not even be Elon's age. So I have so much time. I just hope whatever it is that it's a net positive on the world and it impacts billions of people in a positive way that makes lasting change.
So you admire people like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk for having sort of reached for that goal as well.
Yeah, of course.
To help millions.
I mean, the iPhone's the most successful product ever invented. It's hard not to admire what he created. You know what I mean?
And the same with sort of as Johnny Ive talks about, like the passion, the effort they put into the designing the iPhone. That like little bit of love is transferred to the whole world. Like they get to experience the joy of that from the designer.
It's what a beautiful thing to do. You know what I mean? I couldn't think of anything better, you know, to create something that even after you're dead for decades just has such a profound impact on basically half the human population.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Brings joy to people.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you do just that, man. You've already done it for millions and millions and millions and millions of people, and I hope you keep doing it. I can't, like, it's so exciting to see what happens this year and next year.
I know.
Like, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I can't, I mean, the videos, but all the other businesses you're in, and you as a human being, as you grow, I can tell, I know, as everyone knows, you have a kind heart, and the fact that you're really damn good at actually using that kind heart to help a lot of people is
Thank you.
awesome to see, man.
I appreciate it. More importantly, before we go,
Yeah.
are we gonna play Dune tonight? Some board
I'm not
games.
gonna play Dune. I have
You don't
I got
wanna-
1 hour.
You don't want to play board games with me?
I want to. I'll play.
You don't
I'll
want to
play
play board games. You don't want to play board games?
If only I wasn't an idiot and actually flew to the right airport.
If you don't play board games with me, they're gonna dislike the video.
Thanks for listening to this conversation with MrBeast. To support this podcast, please check out our sponsors in the description. And now, let me leave you with some words from the poet and philosopher Rabindranath Tagore. Reach high, for stars lie hidden in you. Thank you for listening, and hope to see you next time.